In a desolate future, under a swirling cosmic vortex, a scorched red land is swarmed by winged demonic creatures, setting the scene of a world deep in apocalypse. Amidst the burning ruins of a metropolis, a colossal scorpion-like monster wraps its skeletal tail around a skyscraper, roaring into the fiery sky. But standing before this horrifying beast is a lone young man. This is Lu Sheng, who fearlessly confronts the monster that towers over him. Lu Sheng's eyes suddenly flare with a brilliant blue light, a sign of immense power awakening within him. With a confident smirk, Lu Sheng raises his hand, gathering crackling blue energy as he prepares to unleash a devastating attack on the beasts of this ruined world. But just as suddenly, the apocalyptic battle vanishes. Lu Sheng jolts awake, no longer a powerful warrior, but a startled high school student in a mundane classroom, completely bewildered by the sudden shift. His classmates erupt in laughter as his teacher, an unimpressed man with glasses, points at him. "Lu Sheng, you've slept through the whole day again," the teacher exclaims. The teacher's lecture continues, his voice filled with frustration. "Look at you. There's only 200 days left until the final exam, and you're still not putting in any effort? All you know how to do is just sleep, sleep, and sleep." His anger peaking, the teacher points accusingly at Lu Sheng. "If you continue on like this," he yells, "even if you wanted to become a construction worker, no one would want to hire you." To hammer his point home, the teacher asks, "Do you know what the lowest health status standard for a construction worker is? It's 0.8. He stares down Lu Sheng, questioning if he's even met that pathetic marker. A smirking classmate chimes in, mocking Lu Sheng. "Teacher, stop forcing him, just let him sleep." Another student adds, "That's right, his health status is just at 0.7. What else can he do but sleep?" Letting out a heavy sigh, the teacher looks down with a mix of pity and frustration, lamenting that Lu Sheng isn't even putting in the effort anymore. With a final, defeated announcement of class dismissed, the teacher ends the lesson, and the students begin to pack up and leave for the day. After class, a cheerful student with a buzz cut plops down on the desk in front of Lu Sheng. This is Lu Qiming, one of Lu Sheng's few friends. "Hey, Shengzi," he asks, "did you have a bad dream again?" Lu Sheng can only let out a weary sigh and give a slight nod, confirming that his nightmares have returned. His mind flashes back to the recurring dream, a depressing, dilapidated field littered with the bones of giant creatures, a place where he is surrounded by nothing but monsters. Lu Sheng explains that the dream caused his mental state to drop severely, and his health status has also fallen below what it originally was. He complains that he'll have to train himself to death just to gain it back. Lu Qiming tries to console him, saying there's no point thinking about it, as they're just regular humans and should leave being heroes to the geniuses. Trying to lift his spirits, Lu Qiming suggests they go play some games, but Lu Sheng turns him down, stating he's not in the mood and is just going to go home. Surprised, Lu Qiming notes it's unlike Lu Sheng to go home so early, and even offers to cover their drinks and PC time. But Lu Sheng simply shakes his head, insisting, "I'm really not going. I need to catch up on my sleep at home." Just then, other classmates call out to Lu Qiming, asking if he's still up for gaming. With a quick "I'm coming," he rushes off to join them. Lu Qiming sighs, but accepts his friend's decision. "All right, let's play together next time," he says, to which Lu Sheng agrees. Walking home alone, Lu Sheng is lost in thought, revealing a stunning secret. "I never thought that after reincarnating into a new world, I'd still have to worry about my final exams." He shakes his head, trying to clear his thoughts of the pressures of school. Instead of worrying about math, he decides he should at least check out the top news. As he walks down the street, he casually thinks to himself that this world and his previous one don't seem all that different from each other. Then he suddenly stops. Looking up, Lu Sheng is confronted by the truth of this new world on a giant digital billboard. It flashes with news of military monster exterminations, exam cutoffs based on health status, and promos for explosive martial arts matches between masters. Suddenly, a woman carrying a massive, heavy pallet of boxes yells at him to move aside, demonstrating the casual superhuman strength that exists in this world. Lu Sheng can only stare in utter disbelief, his eyes wide with amazement as he whispers, "So strong." The scene then shifts to a humble, rundown apartment building under an orange evening sky, presumably where Lu Sheng lives. Stepping inside the apartment, Lu Sheng is met with a sharp cry of pain, as a hand is shown pressing a large medicated patch onto an aching back. The source of the noise is his father, a muscular man wincing as Lu Sheng's gentle mother applies pain relief patches to his back, a clear sign of the toll from his demanding job. "Please be gentler," he groans, but she kindly urges him to grit his teeth and bear it. Lu Sheng announces his return, and his mother greets him warmly, calling him Xiao Sheng, while his father continues to wince from the pain in his back. His mother, with a kind smile, asks if he's hungry and tells him they're just waiting for his little sister to get home before they start dinner. Seeing his father's discomfort, a worried expression clouds Lu Sheng's face. He suggests to his father that they buy a blood-circulating apparatus instead. He explains that a classmate has one and that it supposedly helps heal waist and back injuries by boosting vital energy and blood flow. His father, however, proudly brushes off the concern. Flexing his bicep, he declares he's as strong as steel and dismisses his pain as nothing more than a slight problem of old age. Then, changing the subject to cheer Lu Sheng up, his father announces that he has a present for him. With a flourish, he presents two small, elegant bottles, revealing them to be the benevolent clinic's newest health recovery powder. Lu Sheng's mother reacts with utter shock, asking if this is the same $20,000 health recovery powder advertised on television. Lu Sheng's own eye widens in surprise. Overcome with excitement, his mother exclaims, "Is that real? You're amazing." She notes how important such medicines are during the schooling years and gives her husband a playful, appreciative slap, making him yelp in surprise. Adding to the joyful atmosphere, his father announces another stroke of good luck. His superiors allowed him to bring home leftover pork head meat. His mother is delighted by the news, and the two celebrate this perfect turn of events. His parents are overjoyed, with his mother exclaiming what a lucky day it is. His father laughs and agrees, saying that lucky things always come in pairs. The conversation then shifts as his mother brings up his younger sister, Luer, wondering aloud if she has managed to get her health status up to 0.85 yet. The pressure on Lu Sheng mounts as his father mentions his sister is already approaching a status of 0.9, making Lu Sheng their biggest worry. Compounding his stress, a news report on the TV behind him announces the cutoff for high school exams is being raised, causing his eyes to widen in shock. Feeling cornered, Lu Sheng quickly dismisses their concerns with a strained "I know," and hastily escapes to his room. Back in the privacy of his simple room, Lu Sheng takes off his jacket, his resolve hardened. A lone barbell on the floor signals his intent to train. He takes a deep breath and exhales, centering himself as he prepares to begin a formal exercise routine from the 14th radio demonstration team. With a determined shout, he begins the 14th set of radio gymnastics, striking a precise, martial arts-like stance. As he practices, his mind goes over the history of the exercise. It's one of 24 body reconstruction techniques created by the World Martial Alliance, based on ancient arts to strengthen a beginner's foundation. His thoughts then drift to the cataclysm 300 years ago when humongous cracks appeared in the skies and on Earth. He continues the sequence, his mind on the history of this world. 300 years ago, terrifying monsters emerged from mysterious cracks, rendering advanced weapons useless. In this desperate situation, humanity was forced to adapt, and a genetic lock within them suddenly came undone. As a result, humanity's potential for individual strength was raised exponentially, giving birth to a new age where they placed all their hope in the power of martial arts to fight for survival. He pushes through the motions, his face a mask of determination as the narration concludes. Humanity had entered an era of martial arts prosperity. However, the history lesson ends on a grim note. On the battlegrounds filled with monsters, humanity was still at a severe disadvantage, with cities falling every day. They are still being pushed to the brink of defeat. He recalls an old, impassioned speech from a world leader, urging the youth born into this world of unrest to shoulder the responsibility of the era and become the future of martial arts. Back in the present, Lu Sheng collapses, exhausted. He despairs internally, having finished 3 sets with no change to his health status, while his sister nears 0.9. He feels hopeless, unable to even regain the status lost to his nightmares, despite his parents' sacrifice and his second chance at life through reincarnation. Panting, sweating, and on the verge of tears, he asks himself if this weakness is the end result of all his desperate efforts. But in a surge of defiance, he grits his teeth. If practicing 3 times is useless, then he'll force himself to practice 4 times, 5 times, even 6 times. With renewed and desperate resolve, he gets back up, determined to push past his limits, his thoughts trailing off as he throws himself back into his training. Suddenly, his world shifts. He's no longer in his room. A shadowy creature with a malevolent grin looms behind him as he realizes with a jolt. Did I fall asleep again? He pinches his cheek, frustrated that he's trapped in the nightmare once more. Before he can even get his bearings, a horrifying zombie with rotting flesh and glowing red eyes lunges at him with a screech. This is a creature he has encountered before. Though caught off guard, Lu Sheng reacts. As the zombie slams into him with brutal force, he manages to block the attack, stopping the creature in its tracks. He manages to catch the zombie's arm, holding back the frenzied attack for a moment. He recognizes the ID number on its vest, YH48549. He curses internally. He'd successfully escaped from this particular creature for the past couple of nights and is furious that he was caught by it again. But his strength isn't enough, and the zombie's power sends him crashing to the ground. Gritting his teeth in a pained and furious grimace, Lu Sheng screams in defiance. Damn it! Don't you dare look down on me. He digs his bare foot into the dirt, filled with resolve. He thinks to himself that even though he's terrible at close combat, and even if he's just useless trash with a health status of 0.7, he's still halfway to being a martial artist. With a roar, he pivots and unleashes a powerful kick that connects squarely with the zombie's torso. The kick sends the zombie staggering back. Seizing the opportunity, Lu Sheng scrambles and picks up a large, jagged rock. Fueled by desperation and rage, he leaps onto the fallen monster, raising the rock high above his head for a final, brutal strike. With all his remaining strength, he brings the rock down in a single, vicious smash, crushing the zombie's skull. Panting and splattered with black gore, Lu Sheng slumps onto the corpse of the defeated zombie. As he catches his breath in the desolate landscape, a flicker of relief washes over him, believing the immediate danger has passed. Catching his breath, Lu Sheng looks at the gory mess he made. He thinks to himself that he finally managed to kill it, confirming that a zombie's weakness is its head. But as he does, strange black tendrils of energy begin to rise from the corpse. Suddenly, the black energy erupts from the body and surges towards him. He cries out in shock and confusion. What is this? The dark tendrils violently swarm and penetrate his body, and Lu Sheng lets out a scream of pure agony as the unknown energy floods his system. As the energy overwhelms him, his mind is flooded with fragmented memories. He sees a photo of a man, the zombie in his past life, relaxing on a beach and talking about his dream to join the Defense Corps. Another memory surfaces. The man is now a soldier, being assigned to base number 1359's defense team with the ID YH48549. The same number Lu Sheng saw on the zombie's vest. He experiences a memory of the soldiers' harsh training, with an instructor drilling into them that more power means a better chance of survival. The final memory is of pure chaos. An alarm blares as the base is attacked by evolved creatures, and the soldier screams in terror as a black mist engulfs him. The visions fade, leaving Lu Sheng on his knees, clutching his head as his own eyes glow with power. He processes the horrifying truth. He just absorbed the memories of the man he killed. He gets to his feet, a faint aura of power swirling around him as an unfamiliar energy courses through his veins. He looks at his hands, bewildered, questioning this strange new sensation. He instinctively throws a punch at the ground, and the force of the impact shocks him. In that moment, the staggering realization hits. He didn't just get the man's memories, he absorbed his power. His nightmare had just become his unique path to strength. The transfer of power is visceral and raw, a clash between the zombie's dying essence and Lu Sheng's own awakening potential. He feels a phantom echo of incredible power, a level of martial prowess that the soldier he absorbed once possessed. For a brief moment, the blue glow in his eyes shifts, turning a piercing golden yellow as the new power settles within him. His eyes return to normal, but his expression is one of pure, unadulterated shock as the full implication of what just happened begins to dawn on him. He stares at the small crater his fist made, completely baffled. "What the hell is this?" he exclaims, wondering when he could have possibly become so strong. He looks at his hands as the last wisps of dark energy absorb into him, realizing that he can feel strength slowly but surely entering his body. He clenches his fist, a new power surging through him. He finally understands. Killing the zombie didn't just give him its memories, it also enabled him to obtain its strength. His curse has now become his greatest blessing. Still in the dream world, Lu Sheng is in disbelief after absorbing a vast amount of information. He questions the reality of it all, wondering if he just gained a lifetime's worth of experience in an instant, a feat that seems to defy the very laws of nature. He lets out a heavy sigh, still grappling with the surreal situation. A part of him wishes it were all just a dream, a simple escape from his reality. However, as he looks around at the desolate landscape littered with the skeletons of giant beasts, he can't deny how vivid it all is. He admits to himself that it feels far too realistic to be dismissed as a simple dream. Suddenly, the source of the memories he just absorbed begins to dissipate right before his eyes, vanishing into motes of light. As the energy penetrates him, his eyes glow with newfound power. A specific, powerful memory flashes through his consciousness, taking him by surprise. He clutches his head as the memory surfaces. Base 1359. He recalls this location from previous dreams and becomes determined. He must find this base to uncover the truth behind this mysterious dream world. His monster-clearing ability levels up. Lu Sheng reflects that absorbing memories is becoming less unpleasant. He decides to hunt combat-type zombies specifically, realizing their memories of strength and fighting skills are incredibly useful for his own growth. Just as he's processing this, he pauses, sensing an abrupt and unusual shift in the dreamscape around him. Without warning, the very fabric of the dream world begins to crack and shatter. Lu Sheng looks up in alarm, completely stunned as he feels the world around him start to destabilize. The collapse accelerates violently, and he clutches his head in pain and confusion. As his surroundings dissolve into nothingness, the dream world forcibly ejects him, triggering a jarring return to consciousness. Lu Sheng is violently thrown back into reality, his hands slamming onto the floor of his bedroom as the dream world collapses. Panting and covered in a cold sweat, he pushes himself up, questioning if he has truly woken up from the intense experience. Just then, a voice shouts his name from outside, impatiently telling him to stop lazing around and come out for dinner. Still looking dazed, Lu Sheng opens the door to find his younger sister, Lu Qinghe. This is Lu Qinghe, his only younger sister. Seeing his sweaty state, she speaks with a mocking tone, sarcastically asking if he was working out when she knows he was just sleeping. A close-up reveals her unimpressed expression, clearly looking down on her brother for what she perceives as laziness. Lu Sheng just laughs awkwardly, scratching the back of his neck. His response, or perhaps his appearance, leaves Qinghe momentarily speechless. He admits that he dozed off. However, his sweat-drenched shirt clings to his body, revealing a chiseled, muscular physique that wasn't there before. Trying to hide her surprise, Qinghe tells him to hurry up and get changed so their parents don't have to wait. Lu Sheng agrees and steps back into his room, closing the door behind him. Outside the closed door, Qinghe is left speechless, a blush creeping onto her cheeks. When did he get so muscular? She thinks to herself, completely taken aback. She assumes he must have been secretly training with incredible dedication. He tells her he'll be right out, then quietly sighs, reminiscing about his childhood when he and his sister Qinghe were once inseparable. A brief, warm flashback shows a memory of them as young children, playing happily together without a care in the world. His thoughts explain that her attitude changed when she began attending school and received her first health assessment. With a health status over 1.2, she was labeled a bona fide genius destined for a prestigious university, leaving him in her shadow. Back in his room, Lu Sheng takes off his sweaty shirt, wryly thinking about their dynamic. A worthless brother and a genius sister. What a tired cliché. But as he looks in the mirror, he is brought up short by his own reflection. He stares in genuine shock, wondering when he had suddenly become so muscular. He clenches his fist, feeling the power thrumming through him. He realizes that not only does he not feel sluggish, but he's overflowing with energy. And that isn't all. He realizes with a jolt that he can remember everything from the dream, all the memories he obtained from the zombies, and all the various combat techniques he inherited. It's unbelievable. He can feel that he's gotten stronger, which leads to a staggering thought. Can he actually bring the strength from his dreams into reality? He joins his family for dinner, where his sister, his gentle mother, and his father are already seated. Lu Sheng tries to push aside the unbelievable idea of getting stronger by dreaming, dismissing it as a fairy tale. But as he sits down at the table, a ravenous, unfamiliar hunger begins to gnaw at him. The moment the food touches his lips, that hunger erupts. All his internal skepticism vanishes, replaced by a primal need for fuel. He starts to wolf down his meal with an incredible pace, his body screaming for energy. He polishes off another bowl, amazed. Everything tastes delicious, and he can't stop himself from shouting for another serving. His family stares in stunned silence. Lu Sheng is surrounded by a huge stack of empty dishes, having completely emptied the pot of rice by himself. Suddenly embarrassed, he awkwardly retracts his bowl, trying to play it cool and say he's full. He can't believe how much he just ate. But his father snatches the bowl from his hand, insisting that he won't let his own son go hungry. He turns to Lu Sheng's mother, telling her to cook another large pot of rice and more dishes, and she happily agrees. His father claps him on the back, laughing. He chalks up the massive appetite to puberty, seeing it as a golden opportunity to improve his son's health status and promising to buy supplements. His sister, Lu Qinghe, remains unimpressed. She thinks to herself that he's already 18 and his last health status was a pitiful 0.8, so there's no way it could increase significantly now. Their father overhears her and tells her to stop belittling her brother, reminding her that every little bit of progress counts in the competitive world of martial arts. Fueled by his father's hope and his sister's scorn, Lu Sheng comes to a decision. He can't rely on feelings alone, he needs concrete proof. He resolves to go to a dojo and get his status officially tested. And so, he makes his way to the prestigious Hongchuan Dojo. It's a high-end institution, the perfect place to get an accurate and undeniable measure of the changes he's feeling. Inside the dojo, Lu Sheng reads about its famous master, Ni Hongchuan, a rank 4 martial artist, which speaks to the prestige of the institution. An infographic details the martial artist ranking system, showing the massive jumps in power from rank 1 all the way to rank 6, where a master's combat power can exceed 100,000. Lu Sheng is in awe of these figures. He realizes that in this world, one's rank is everything, and the strongest martial artists are practically superhuman. He looks at the posters advertising the dojo's exorbitant fees and knows that only the wealthiest families can afford to send their children here. He walks in, thinking that while his family would pay for his sister, they'd never spend that kind of money on him. But he dismisses the thought. If his dream power is real, he doesn't need a fancy school. He then approaches the front desk. A polite receptionist with purple hair greets him with a practiced smile, assuming he's here to register for an expensive class. But Lu Sheng confidently informs her that he's only there to get an assessment of his health status and combat power. The receptionist's smile doesn't falter, but her internal thoughts reveal her judgment. Seeing he's alone and not dressed expensively, she assumes he's not from a wealthy family. She directs him to the assessment room down the hall. When she offers her assistance, he politely refuses, stating he knows how the machine works and heading off alone. Now inside the testing room, Lu Sheng stands before the assessment machine. Taking a calming breath, he prepares to finally get a concrete answer, deciding to check his health status first. He places his hand gently on the glowing orb of the assessment machine. The machine whirs to life, sending a pulse of energy through his body to read his vitals. The results appear on the holographic display. Health status 0.963. He is now officially at the apprentice rank. Lu Sheng explodes with joy. It really went up. An increase of nearly 0.2 from just an hour of dreaming. This is how cultivation is supposed to feel. The realization gives him a surge of hope. He's already on the verge of catching up to his genius sister. At this incredible rate, he can finally walk the path of a true martial artist. With his health status confirmed, he turns his attention to the combat dummy. Now for the second test, what will his combat power be? He stands before the armored test dummy, taking a moment to center himself and focus his mind. He reassures himself, recalling the countless battles from his dream. The experience and techniques of the zombies he defeated are his to command. He focuses, calling upon the raw combat experience now ingrained in his very being. The memories of the warriors he absorbed feel less like a foreign entity and more like an extension of his own will, their power gathering at his command. Channeling that lifetime of battle-honed instinct into a single moment, he thrusts his palm forward, aiming for the center of the test dummy. The palm connects with a powerful thud, sending a shockwave of energy through the test dummy. The dummy's blank faceplate remains impassive as it calculates the force of the blow. Lu Sheng pulls his hand back, watching the dummy expectantly for the result. The number flashes on the holographic display, 113. Lu Sheng stares in disbelief. He shouts in amazement. Not only was it a massive increase, but his combat power is even higher than the theoretical limit for his health status. This is the ultimate proof. It's all real. He can truly become a martial artist. His mind races with the possibilities. If he accomplished this after just 1 hour of sleep, what could a full 8, 9, or even 10 hours do? A manic grin spreads across his face as he imagines it. In a single night, he could be completely reborn. Later that night, Lu Sheng lies in bed, his eyes wide open. He's buzzing with too much excitement and anticipation to fall asleep. He erupts in frustration, punching his bed. He can't believe the irony of not being able to sleep now that he actually needs to for his training. Giving up on sleep for now, he glances at the clock. It's only 9 p.m. He decides that instead of waiting, he'll work out to tire his body and help him fall asleep naturally. He sees it as a productive way to stabilize his newly increased health status. He chooses a familiar routine, radio gymnastics set 13, and takes a deep breath, preparing to begin the first simple movement. However, as he starts the very first move of the simple routine, his body is suddenly wrapped in a powerful blue aura, executing the motion with an unintended and unfamiliar level of force and precision. He immediately stops, shocked and confused by his body's involuntary action. He stares at his hands, wondering why he would move like that. He sees one normal hand and one ghostly, zombie-like hand, representing the instincts now buried within him. He questions how he could possibly mess up an exercise he's known since childhood. As he thinks this, a spectral image of a long-haired warrior from his dream appears, overlaying his own movements. Then it hits him. This wasn't a mistake. His body automatically upgraded the simple exercise. He has just unlocked a memory of the advanced body training technique that one of the zombies he absorbed had learned when it was still alive. In the dead of night, while the city sleeps, a lone figure practices his martial arts. It's Lu Sheng, diligently honing the skills he acquired from his mysterious dreams of the future. A faint blue light begins to envelop his fist, with purple energy crackling around it. This is the tangible result of his training, a power that doesn't belong to this era. Panting heavily, Lu Sheng holds his stance, a determined look on his face. He had to repeat the same basic movements 200 times to achieve this state, pushing his body to its absolute limits. He marvels at the result. With every motion, he can feel an incredible power surging through him, a sensation of strength he has never known before. But as he analyzes the feeling, he realizes it's not just the body training technique. There's something more, another key component he almost overlooked. His mind flashes back to the training in his dreams. A masked instructor had relentlessly drilled a specific breathing technique into them, emphasizing its importance above all else. Combining the movements with the breathing technique, Lu Sheng generates a swirling ball of energy. He understands now. The results far surpass years of normal training. The real treasure lies within his dreams. But just as he basks in his newfound power, a sudden, deep rumble echoes through the room, originating from within his own body. An excruciating wave of hunger hits him, so intense it brings him to his knees. He clutches his stomach, roaring in agony. It's a primal starvation he has never experienced before, a sign that his body is demanding something more. His face becomes gaunt in an instant. As he pants, saliva dripping from his mouth, he quickly deduces the cause. Forcing his body to grow at such an unnatural rate means his energy consumption has skyrocketed. He understands that his body is now screaming for fuel that normal food can no longer provide. Lu Sheng understands that regular food is no longer sufficient to fuel his evolution. To get the nutrients he needs, he'll have to rely on expensive supplements and pills. But reality hits hard. With his family's meager income, there's no way to afford such pricey items. He worries that if things continue like this, his rapid growth will come to a grinding halt. A fire lights up in his eyes. He can't let his progress stop here. With newfound determination, he decides he has to start earning money, and his thoughts immediately turn to his school. He recalls that his school, awards a scholarship of 10,000 for first-grade honors. A concrete goal forms in his mind. But to get his hands on that scholarship, he knows he'll have to make a public display of the incredible talents and abilities he has secretly acquired. A few days later, in the school locker room, His friend Lu Chi-ming is stunned by his transformation, playfully poking his newly formed abs. Lu Sheng coolly responds that he's just been working out. Lu Sheng calmly observes his reflection. It's not just his body, his hair has grown longer as well. The changes are happening faster than he expected. Lu Chi-ming jokingly accuses him of working out just to get the attention of girls during the upcoming practical combat lesson. But Lu Sheng's mind is elsewhere, warning his friend to focus on the exams instead. As they walk towards the gymnasium, his friend's words echo in his mind. Showing off. He thinks to himself, perhaps that's exactly what he needs to do. He realizes that this practical combat lesson isn't just a class. It's the perfect stage. It's his chance to demonstrate his power and solve his financial crisis in one fell swoop. The students gather in the school's sports gym for their practical combat lesson, forming a wide circle on the polished floor. Their instructor, Zhong Zhenghua, addresses the class, announcing a review of basic combat techniques. Lu Chi-ming whispers to Lu Sheng, sharing rumors that their instructor is a rank 2 martial artist who has fought actual beasts on a battlefield. A close-up on Mr. Zhong's arm reveals heavy scarring, lending credibility to the rumors of his combat experience. While the other students are impressed, Lu Sheng internally scoffs. From his perspective, having absorbed advanced techniques from the future, the instructor's movements seem crude and simplistic. Mr. Zhong demonstrates a powerful, swift kick to the class. After finishing his demonstration, he informs the students that the review portion of the class is over. To continue the lesson, Mr. Zhong calls for a student to come up and demonstrate. He chooses the class ace, Yang Yifei. Yang Yifei, the class's star student, makes his way to the center. Handsome and confident, he immediately captures the attention of the female students, who swoon over his good looks and renowned strength. But while the girls swoon, many of the male students can only grumble in jealousy. To them, Yang Yifei is the one who has it all, a constant reminder of the gap they can't seem to cross. Lu Sheng, however, simply watches the scene unfold with a neutral, observant gaze. The other students watch Yang Yifei with envy. They complain that it's unfair he's handsome, rich, and can afford the best supplements to boost his vitality score to nearly 1.2. As Yang Yifei spars with the instructor, the students continue to grumble, convinced that the teachers play favorites and that commoners like them don't stand a chance. Lu Sheng listens to their complaints and reflects internally. The old him would have agreed with their sense of hopelessness. But not anymore. With a flash of determination in his glowing blue eye, he rejects that powerless mindset, vowing that he will now seize everything he wants with his own 2 hands. During the sparring demonstration, a fist is parried by an open hand, showing a block. Mr. Zhong gives Yang Yifei some pointers, complimenting his form but noting issues with his balance. Outwardly, Yang Yifei is respectful, thanking him for the instruction. Inwardly, however, Yang Yifei is full of contempt. He scoffs at the idea of a puny, low-ranked martial artist correcting him, viewing the instructor as mere cannon fodder compared to the experts in his family. Sensing the lack of spirit in the room, or perhaps noticing Yang Yifei's hidden arrogance, Mr. Zhong issues a challenge to the class. Would anyone like to spar with Yang Yifei here? A wave of fear and reluctance washes over the students. They avoid eye contact and shrink back, utterly intimidated by the prospect of facing the class ace. Silence hangs heavy in the air as no one dares to volunteer. Lu Chi-ming voices the cowardly sentiment of the entire class, muttering that it's pointless for any of them to stand up, as they'd just be tossed around for Yang Yifei's amusement. This collective refusal to even try is palpable. Instructor Zhong is deeply disappointed. He thinks to himself how every time a challenge arises, the students just shrink away like a group of ostriches, making it impossible to truly teach them. He laments that while the school can teach them basics, only a privileged few like Yang Yifei seem destined to walk the true path of a martial artist in the military. He mentally addresses the students' silent accusations of favoritism, wondering if they've ever considered that aside from the privileged, who else would dare to step up? Just then, his train of thought is shattered as he spots a pair of intensely glowing blue eyes in the crowd. His gaze locks onto the student who dares to meet his challenge with such intensity. The instructor is stunned. He recognizes that look. Those eyes don't belong to a lazy student. They belong to someone who has endured truly arduous training. Intrigued, Mr. Zhong points directly at Lu Sheng, acknowledging his silent challenge. He's surprised to find such a tall poppy, in his class and instructs him to step forward. His friend, Lu Qiming, panics and tries to hold him back, begging him to concede. He pleads with Lu Sheng not to risk injury for the sake of pride right before their exams. Lu Sheng confidently stands up and reassures his worried friend. With a small smile, he reminds him, "I told you, I've been training." As Lu Sheng steps forward, the instructor sets the rules for the spar, a 10-minute time limit, with safety as the top priority. Lu Sheng steps onto the floor, facing off against the class ace, Yang Yifei. The entire class watches, anticipating a one-sided fight. For Lu Sheng, this is a test of his newfound skill. For the arrogant Yang Yifei, it's merely the start of what he believes will be an easy victory. Instructor Zhong notes Lu Sheng's complete lack of fear and wonders how he missed such a quality before. He asks for Lu Sheng's last vitality score, and the answer is a shockingly low 0.802. The low score makes the instructor doubt his own judgment for a moment. But he pushes it aside, reminding them it's a contest of technique, and officially starts the fight. Yang Yifei smirks, already treating Lu Sheng as defeated. He condescendingly offers advice on how to fall properly to avoid injury, fully expecting to knock him down immediately. Unaffected by the taunt, Lu Sheng calmly assumes a ready stance. He thanks him for the reminder and confidently invites his opponent to attack at any time. With a simple alright, Yang Yifei lunges forward, throwing a powerful punch aimed straight at Lu Sheng's face. But Lu Sheng's mind is a sea of calm. As the punch flies toward him, he recalls the core principles of combat from his future training. Control distance, observe movements, and maintain a balance of offense and defense. The advanced lessons continue in his mind. Control the rhythm, test with jabs, then finish with heavy blows. As he processes this, the watching students look on in absolute shock, unable to believe what they are seeing. Having effortlessly dodged Yang Yifei's full-force attack, Lu Sheng instantly identifies an opening and prepares his counterattack. As he throws his punch, Yang Yifei is completely certain of his victory, believing that the match has already been decided by their perceived difference in strength. He sneers, thinking that pushovers like Lu Sheng deserve an embarrassing exit. But his confidence evaporates into confusion as he realizes his punch has hit nothing but air. Having sidestepped the attack with ease, Lu Sheng unleashes his own counterattack, swinging a powerful punch upwards. For a split second, Yang Yifei's arrogance is replaced by pure shock and disbelief as he sees the fist coming right for him. The sound of impact echoes as Lu Sheng's fist connects squarely with Yang Yifei's jaw. The class watches in stunned silence as their champion, Yang Yifei, is sent flying across the gym floor from the force of that single blow. He lands in a heap, cracking the wooden floorboards on impact, completely knocked out. The other students scramble away, shocked by the brutal outcome. Instructor Zhong rushes over to the fallen student, his face a mask of disbelief as he checks on the unconscious Yang Yifei. The entire gymnasium is rendered speechless. Lu Qiming, along with every other student, can only stare with wide eyes and open mouths. The scene is so far beyond their expectations that their minds simply refuse to process it. An absolute silence hangs in the air. In the center of the gym, Lu Sheng stands perfectly calm, a stark contrast to the unconscious form of Yang Yifei on the cracked floorboards. He is the undisputed victor, leaving a sea of stunned faces in his wake. As Lu Sheng stands in the center of the gym, a faint blue aura swirling around him, the students finally begin to process what happened. In stuttered whispers of disbelief, they repeat the impossible truth. Lu Sheng defeated Yang Yifei with a single punch. Continuing from the last chapter, Lu Sheng looks at his own fist in disbelief, utterly shocked by the power he just unleashed. It was a single, instinctual punch, yet the result was far beyond his wildest expectations. The devastating impact of the punch is shown as it connects squarely with Yang Yifei's jaw. The force is so immense that his face contorts, and he's sent flying backward, completely knocked out before he even hits the ground. The entire training hall is left in stunned silence. The crowd of students can only stare at the unbelievable scene. The top student, Yang Yifei, lies defeated on the ground, while the formerly weakest student, Lu Sheng, stands victorious after a single blow. The supervising teacher, Zhong, is the first to snap out of the collective shock. He bellows at the frozen students, ordering someone to run and get the teacher from the nurse's office immediately. Soon after, medics arrive and carefully secure the unconscious Yang Yifei onto a stretcher. With a neck brace fitted, they rush him out of the hall, highlighting the seriousness of the injury he sustained. As Yang Yifei is carried away, both Lu Sheng and Teacher Zhong watch on. Lu Sheng, scratching the back of his head, has a worried and slightly awkward expression, clearly not having intended for things to go this far. Lu Sheng turns to Teacher Zhong and apologizes sincerely. He explains that it wasn't intentional and that he simply failed to control his newfound strength, looking genuinely regretful for the outcome. However, a close-up on Teacher Zhong's face reveals that he isn't angry at all. Instead, a subtle, almost cunning smile plays on his lips. He's intrigued, not upset, by this unexpected turn of events. Teacher Zhong calmly reassures Lu Sheng, dismissing the incident by stating that injuries are an unavoidable part of combat and that Yang Yifei's condition isn't severe. With the situation under control, he shifts his focus, instructing Lu Sheng to follow him to his office for a private discussion. Lu Sheng agrees and starts to walk off with the teacher, leaving the stunned crowd behind. Before leaving completely, he turns to his friend, Qiming, asking him to inform their next teacher about his absence, a small act of responsibility amidst the chaos he just created. Back in the training hall, Lu Sheng's friend Qiming is left speechless. The surrounding students erupt in a flurry of questions, wondering if Lu Sheng is the same person they knew, speculating that he might have used drugs to become so powerful, and expressing their disbelief that he took down the formidable Yang Yifei, whose vitality was 1.22 in a single punch. As the whispers and theories spread, Lu Sheng walks away from the crowd. The dramatic angle shows him casting a long, imposing shadow, symbolizing his sudden and drastic departure from his former status as the school's weakest student. The scene transitions as Teacher Zhong opens the door to his office, leading a silent Lu Sheng inside, away from the prying eyes and gossip of the other students. Upon entering, Lu Sheng is taken aback by the office's contents. It's not just a simple room, but also contains an advanced-looking training dummy and, surprisingly, a well-kept bonsai tree. Lu Sheng's attention is drawn to the intricate bonsai tree. He can't help but comment on it, expressing his surprise that his stern-looking teacher has such a delicate and artistic hobby. Teacher Zhong smiles faintly, admitting it's just a small hobby of his. However, his tone shifts as he looks pointedly at Lu Sheng, adding, "Besides, everyone has secrets of their own," directly alluding to Lu Sheng's sudden burst of power. The atmosphere becomes tense. A sharp glint in Teacher Zhong's eye signals that the pleasantries are over, and the real interrogation is about to begin. Dropping all pretense, Teacher Zhong confronts him directly. He brings up the official records, stating that student Lu Sheng's vitality is supposed to be at a meager 0.8. Unfazed by the pointed question, Lu Sheng simply offers a confident smile. He calmly tells Teacher Zhong that the 0.8 figure was from the last assessment, implying that it's completely out of date. This confident rebuttal only serves to crystallize the teacher's greatest fear. Teacher Zhong's expression turns severe, his eyes glowing with suspicion as he voices the only explanation he can fathom. "You didn't use some kind of drug to forcibly increase your vitality, right?" He sternly reminds Lu Sheng that such an act is strictly forbidden and would result in consequences far more serious than a mere warning. Lu Sheng is taken aback by the accusation. He immediately and emphatically denies it, swearing that he has never used any illegal drugs to boost his power. To settle the matter, Teacher Zhong outlines a plan. They will first use a vitality orb to test Lu Sheng's current level, and then assess his combat strength against the training dummy. If the two are consistent, it will be proof of his genuine ability. Lu Sheng calmly agrees. Following the teacher's instruction, Lu Sheng steps forward and places his hand on the crystalline orb resting on the desk. This will be the definitive test to clear his name. The moment his palm makes contact, the orb erupts in a blinding flash of intense blue energy. The sheer power radiating from it is far beyond what anyone would expect from a simple vitality test. Teacher Zhong is left utterly speechless. A holographic display projects the stunning result into the air, a vitality of 1.532, officially classifying Lu Sheng as a rank 1 martial artist. The teacher can only shout in disbelief. The number 1.532 reflects across Teacher Zhong's shocked face. He mutters to himself, realizing the implications. At just 18 years old, Lu Sheng has officially become a martial artist, a feat almost unheard of. Putting it into perspective, Teacher Zhong realizes that a talent of this magnitude is unprecedented, not just in their school, but in the entire metropolis of White Lake City, there is no other genius like him. Now for the second part of the test. As Lu Sheng strikes the combat dummy, a massive boom echoes through the office, and Teacher Zhong's eyes widen in alarm as he witnesses the unexpected collateral damage. Lu Sheng's punch unleashes a shocking amount of force. It not only dents the heavy training dummy, but sends it flying across the room, where it collides with and shatters the teacher's prized bonsai tree. Both student and teacher can only stare, frozen in disbelief at the sheer destruction. The disbelief gives way to a bizarre spectacle as the dummy smashes into and cracks the office wall. Teacher Zhong lets out a theatrical wail, dramatically mourning his destroyed prideful pine. As he weeps, a panicked Lu Sheng apologizes profusely, unaware that the teacher's grief is masking a mind-reeling shock at the incredible power he just witnessed. Even while dramatically mourning his tree, Teacher Zhong's mind is racing. He internally notes that the training dummy was a special model, designed to withstand the force of a certified martial artist, yet Lu Sheng destroyed it. As he watches Lu Sheng frantically trying to pry the dummy out of the wall, the conclusion becomes undeniable. This kid's raw combat strength has already surpassed that of a standard rank 1 martial artist. After the chaos subsides, the mood in the office turns serious once more. Teacher Zhong sits at his desk, composing himself, while Lu Sheng sits opposite him, quietly holding the now dormant vitality orb. Lu Sheng, looking a bit nervous after all the destruction he caused, starts to speak up, wanting to follow up on a previous point. But Teacher Zhong cuts him off, getting straight back to the core mystery. He revisits the fact that Lu Sheng's last recorded vitality was 0.8 and asks the critical question. How long ago was that assessment taken? Lu Sheng gives his stunning answer. The last assessment was only half a month ago. This revelation hits Teacher Zhong like a lightning bolt, and he shouts out loud in sheer disbelief. Trying to comprehend the impossible, Teacher Zhong questions how anyone could jump from a 0.8 vitality to a level surpassing a martial artist in just 15 days. He theorizes that Lu Sheng must either be the heir of a powerful noble clan or the secret disciple of a grand master. With a relaxed and cheerful expression, Lu Sheng calmly debunks both theories. He clarifies that he comes from a completely ordinary family and has no grand master teaching him. When pressed for the reason behind his miraculous growth, Lu Sheng simply glances at the broken dummy and says, "That's a secret." His refusal to explain only deepens the mystery surrounding him. Teacher Zhong is left to ponder the unbelievable facts. He summarizes it in his mind. Lu Sheng nearly doubled his vitality in a ridiculously short time, and his combat strength is already beyond the rank 1 level. He's facing a talent that defies all logic. Instead of getting angry, Teacher Zhong becomes contemplative and begins to recount his past. He explains that he was a good student who eventually became a rank 1 martial artist and joined the military. But it was only on the battlefield that he learned a devastating truth. The scene flashes back to a brutal war zone. The truth he learned was simple and grim. It is impossible for ordinary humans to defeat the terrifying, monstrous creatures that threaten their world. In the flashback, a younger, wounded Teacher Zhong kneels in despair. He recalls the overwhelming feeling of powerlessness, realizing how weak and fragile humanity is in the face of such incomprehensible strength. But there was a sliver of hope. He witnessed powerful individuals, like the woman seen here leaping to attack the beast, who could stand against the tide. His narration explains that the only way to defeat monsters is with something equally monstrous. The only ones who can succeed are those whose own strength is just as unreasonable and incomprehensible. The flashback ends, and the focus returns to Lu Sheng. Teacher Zhong's voiceover concludes that humanity's only hope is a group of people who are, in their own right, monsters. The imagery directly links Lu Sheng to this idea, seeing him as one of these potential saviors. Returning fully to the present, Teacher Zhong lets out a long sigh. His trip down memory lane has solidified his resolve. He has a new understanding of what Lu Sheng represents and says, "I've got it," having made a decision. He makes a formal offer. With his phenomenal results, Lu Sheng is more than qualified for the school's elite gifted class, where he would be taught by the very best. Teacher Zhong is even ready to contact the dean immediately. Lu Sheng, however, has his own plans. He politely turns down the generous offer for the gifted class, stating that his current class is fine. He then strategically reveals a clue to his secret method, saying, "I can advance much faster in my dreams than in class anyway. signaling that he requires a different kind of support. Teacher Zhong is sharp enough to read between the lines. Intrigued by the rejection, he understands that a student who grows in his sleep doesn't need better teachers, but different resources. He drops the idea of the gifted class and instead opens the door for a negotiation, asking Lu Sheng to name the specific difficulties he's facing so the school can provide the right kind of support. Seizing the opportunity, Lu Sheng doesn't hold back. He holds up 2 fingers and makes his requests clear. He wants to apply for a martial artist scholarship to solve his financial issues, and he needs a more flexible timetable to accommodate his unique training method. Teacher Zhong immediately grasps the situation. He understands that what Lu Sheng truly needs are resources and time. He readily agrees to submit an application for a special $30,000 scholarship and to take up the timetable issue with the dean's office. He explains that the official scholarship will take about 2 days to process. However, showing his commitment, he notes that a talent like Lu Sheng cannot afford to waste even 2 days waiting. To bridge the gap, Teacher Zhong makes a personal investment. He pulls out a prestigious black card and offers it to a stunned Lu Sheng as an advance, telling him to pay it back once the scholarship is approved. Lu Sheng instantly recognizes it as a martial arts black card, which holds a minimum of $100,000, far more than the scholarship. Overwhelmed with gratitude, he thanks his teacher. Teacher Zhong simply encourages him to work hard for the glory of the school and dismisses him back to class. And with that, Lu Sheng leaves the office, card in hand, closing the door on a conversation that has completely changed the course of his future. Inside a pharmacy, a beautifully crafted box is opened to reveal an ornate bottle. This is the Orchid Heart Nourishing Tonic, the latest product from Rinxin Medical Hall, a testament to the eye for quality of those who can afford it. A salesperson explains that the tonic is most effective for stabilizing vitality after it reaches 0.8, and it was specially developed for female martial artists. Seeing her daughter's excitement, a mother readily agrees to buy the tonic, which is on promotion for $30,000. As the mother and daughter leave happily, the mother reminds her to train hard to absorb the tonic. The girl enthusiastically promises to place first in her upcoming mock exam. In the background, Lu Sheng walks away, having witnessed the casual, expensive purchase. Lu Sheng reflects on the price tag. $30,000 for a single bottle, a sum his parents could barely afford even after working tirelessly day and night. It's a harsh reminder of the cycle where strong martial artists earn more money, which in turn is used to nurture even stronger martial artists. He sees it as a stark illustration of the gap between the rich and poor. His sister, Lu Qinghe, a true genius, has the talent to change her destiny, but she is burdened by him, as he takes away a share of the pitiful resources their family has. Lu Sheng pants, the weight of his own past mediocrity crashing down on him. He thinks to himself, as for me, he was unwilling to accept being average, but he also didn't put in enough effort to change his own destiny. He just spent his days muddling along aimlessly. His thoughts drift to his peers, who would boast about their gaming skills, planning to carry each other on killing rampages. Lu Sheng, walking alone in the background, was an outsider to their camaraderie, lost in his own world. In a moment of painful clarity, Lu Sheng admits to himself that he had yearned to see the incredible world of martial artists. Yet, he hid away in video games, desperately clinging to that small bit of connection with his previous life from before he woke up in this world. The feeling was like being a fish trapped in a tank. He longed for the vastness of the boundless sea, yet was reluctant to part with the familiar comfort and safety of his glass prison. It was the core of his conflict, the battle between his past self and the future he could potentially seize. However, that feeling of being a trapped fish in a tank was a thing of the past. Submerged in the metaphorical water, a shift occurs within Lu Sheng. In an instant, all of that has changed. With a crash, the glass wall of his confinement shatters. Lu Sheng has broken through the surface of the water and discovered the real world beyond, once again obtaining a chance to change his destiny. Looking up at the sky between the towering buildings, Lu Sheng feels a renewed sense of purpose. He knows what he wants to do and what he should do, and this time, he won't make the wrong decision. Suddenly, his eyes widen in shock, a single tear escaping as a powerful realization washes over him. This is it. The multitude of battle memories he gathered from his dreams over the past 10,000 years. They have all been integrated in a single moment. He has finally broken through the bottleneck, he was having with his fist techniques. Now they are truly his own. Clenching his fist, Lu Sheng feels a sense of clarity. Finding one's true self after knowing one's nature. He thinks. He wonders if this is the epiphany his teacher spoke about in class. Walking down the street with his groceries, Lu Sheng feels a quiet confidence. He knows he has advanced yet another step on this new path he has chosen. He glances at the bags he's carrying, the Orchid Heart Nourishing Tonic and a blood-activating acupuncture kit. He thinks of his sister, Qinghe, and his parents. His resolve hardens. He will keep becoming stronger to fight for what he wants. Then the scene shifts. The mundane street disappears, replaced by a dark, desolate landscape. A zombie with spiky hair and glowing red eyes snarls, its face a mask of pure aggression. Lu Sheng is back in the dream world. The zombie lunges forward, its red eyes glaring with malice. Below, Lu Sheng, now clad in his dream world attire, stands his ground, ready to face the oncoming threat. The zombie strikes, but Lu Sheng dodges with ease. He notes that the creature still retains the techniques and instincts of a martial artist from when it was alive. Effortlessly, Lu Sheng sidesteps the zombie's clumsy but powerful attacks, his movements fluid and precise. With his newly mastered techniques, Lu Sheng unleashes a devastating punch, completely overwhelming the zombie and sending it flying back. From the defeated zombie's memories, Lu Sheng learns that the place called Base 1359 should be nearby. According to the memory, it should be swarming with monsters, yet the area is eerily quiet. He decides to press on and investigate. Upon arriving, Lu Sheng is left speechless. He stands before a colossal broken-down wall, far larger than he could have imagined. What a magnificent city wall. He breathes. How is this a base? It's a whole city. He looks up with a nervous laugh. The scale of the destruction is so immense that he feels like he wouldn't even be shocked if two behemoth monsters were to appear right now. The camera pulls back to show Lu Sheng as a minuscule figure against the backdrop of the massive, crumbling fortress, emphasizing the sheer, overwhelming scale of the ruin. He climbs up through a breach in the impossibly thick wall. As he reaches the top and looks through, he lets out a sharp breath, stunned by the sight of the vast, dead city within. Standing atop the breach, Lu Sheng is shaken. The walls are at least 20 meters thick, a testament to a civilization whose martial arts and development far surpassed his own. A chilling question forms in his mind. If a power like this could fall to the monsters, what will become of his own world's future? The sheer scale of the destruction is terrifying. Driven by the need for answers, his gaze sweeps across the desolate cityscape for any clue that could explain this catastrophe. His eyes lock onto a unique building that stands out from the rubble. He recognizes it instantly. It must be the military base or command center. As he focuses on the command center, he notices something unexpected. There's a figure sitting inside a massive, shattered portion of the building. From his high vantage point, Lu Sheng gets a better look. A lone figure is sitting cross-legged amidst the ruins, seemingly in a state of meditation. He zooms in and realizes it's a zombie. But this one is different. It has long hair and a gaunt, yet formidable appearance, with a sword resting by its side and its eyes glowing with a menacing light. Suddenly, without any warning, a terrifying psychic power erupts from the seated zombie, unleashing a massive, invisible shockwave. The mental assault hits Lu Sheng head-on, his face contorting in pure shock and agony as the force slams into his consciousness. The sheer power of the psychic blast throws him backward, sending him tumbling from his perch on the ruined city wall. The psychic attack manifests as a ghostly, terrifying face, overwhelming Lu Sheng's senses as he struggles to catch his breath. Staggering to his feet, Lu Sheng is completely shaken. What the hell was that? He thinks. A shockwave. Some kind of psychic power. What a terrifyingly intimidating force. He looks back at the distant command center and sighs, a grim acceptance settling in. That place, guarded by such a powerful entity, isn't somewhere he can approach with his current abilities. Wisely, he decides to retreat and leave it for now. Switching tactics, Lu Sheng decides to survey the rest of the area first. He looks down from the cliff edge to the streets below, where a different class of zombies are wandering. In contrast to the terrifying Guardian, he notes, these common types don't seem very scary. Down in the streets, the common zombies Lu Sheng had spotted are shambling about aimlessly, a stark contrast to the powerful Guardian of the command center. One of the zombies senses him and lunges forward, its mouth wide in a silent, decaying scream. With two swift, effortless strikes, Lu Sheng dispatches the zombie from a distance, its head flying from its shoulders. From his perch, Lu Sheng confirms the kill, then decides to explore a nearby residential building, leaping down to enter one of the apartments. He enters an apartment and is surprised to find it empty of zombies. Though in disarray, it just looks like a regular apartment, frozen in time. Lu Sheng inspects the scene, picking up a spoon from a table set for a meal. He notices no signs of forced entry. He theorizes the occupants were eating when the apocalypse dawned, and that the terrifying black mist was so powerful that ordinary people didn't even get the chance to become zombies. His attention is drawn to a sleek, circular device on a dusty table. He reaches out and places his hand on its surface. "What's this?" he wonders, pressing the center of the device. It hums to life with a blue glow. It still works. The device whirs, ending its standby mode and restarting. A beam of light shoots upward, and a holographic figure begins to form right before his eyes. The light solidifies into the stunning, life-sized hologram of a blonde woman. As her eyes open, a synthetic voice fills the silent room, speaking a language Lu Sheng understands perfectly. "Hello. Welcome, user of Tianheng technology." Lu Sheng is completely taken aback by the sudden appearance of the female figure. What is this?" he stammers, a hologram. Virtual reality. But as he listens to her speak, a more shocking realization dawns on him. "Hang on," he thinks, his eyes wide. "She's speaking in the same language as I am." He stares at the hologram, trying to make sense of it. Could this be some sort of incredibly advanced auto-translation technology? The AI formally introduces herself. She is a product of Tianheng Technologies, the built-in auxiliary artificial intelligence of the 16th generation optical mind. Her name is Ellie, and she is responsible for controlling the network server management of Base 1359. Lu Sheng digests the information. An optical mind, an artificial intelligence. This is truly futuristic technology. "Well then, Ellie," he says, addressing the AI, "can you give me the latest news?" Ellie is happy to be of service. She attempts to connect to Skynet, but the connection fails. Undeterred, she switches to accessing Base 1359's local civilian database and successfully connects. Suddenly, the room is filled with countless holographic pages of data that swirl around Lu Sheng, who is startled by the sudden information dump. The data scrolls by, showing a timeline from the Martial calendar, year 11024. It lists key historical events. The launch of a spacecraft, the fall of Base 105, a lieutenant general becoming a rank 10 Star Realm martial artist, and a cascade of other bases falling in succession. One particular entry catches Lu Sheng's eye, causing a vision of a supremely powerful, robed figure to flash in his mind. He exclaims in shock, "A rank 10 martial artist?" His expression turns grim. If the ranking system of this future world is the same as his own, then he can't even begin to imagine the incredible heights their martial arts must have reached before their fall. As Lu Sheng flips through the holographic records, his attention is caught by a new set of data scrolling down from above. The records show apocalyptic scenes of monstrous, alien creatures descending upon the world, led by a colossal, terrifying beast. Swarms of smaller, winged monsters are shown firing devastating energy blasts, laying waste to the futuristic cities below. Lu Sheng stands motionless as he watches the historical footage of the invasion, the world crumbling around him in the holographic projection. A cold sweat trickles down his face. The realization hits him hard. This world's martial arts and technology had both truly reached unimaginable heights. Yet, despite their incredible advancements and the existence of rank 10 powerhouses, and their tall, sturdy city walls, in the face of those monsters, they weren't able to protect anything at all. The records show their final, desperate act. They decided to abandon their home planet, sending exploration teams out into the vast galaxy in search of another suitable world to call home. However, his face falls as he learns the tragic outcome. Till the day human civilization completely fell, none of the exploration teams had reported any good news. The projection fades, leaving Lu Sheng in the dark, silent apartment. He concludes with grim certainty, "Sure enough, we won't be able to escape the fate of our destruction." He thanks Ellie, a sad smile on his face. Such a glorious civilization. It's such a shame. Lu Sheng sits down, a new idea forming. "Well then, Ellie," he asks, "can you pull up this world's history for me?" Ellie gracefully complies, announcing that she is retrieving the history of the world. A long, holographic scroll of data unfurls before him, ready for his inspection. A glimmer of hope appears in Lu Sheng's eyes. Even if such a powerful civilization couldn't escape destruction, perhaps his world can learn from their experiences and keep the same fate from befalling them. The timeline begins. Year 1 of the martial calendar, huge chasms appeared, releasing hordes of creatures. Year 34, the first martial artist with inner chi was born, and the World Martial Alliance was established. Lu Sheng pauses the playback, a familiar feeling creeping in. A cold dread washes over him as he stares at the screen, sweat beading on his face. Wait, he thinks, his heart pounding. Isn't this? His eyes dart across the familiar dates and events, the horrifying truth crashing down on him. This is the history of his own world. He stands up, the pieces falling into place with terrifying clarity. I see, he mutters, his voice trembling slightly. The same language, and the same martial artist ranking system. His mind reels, contrasting the apocalyptic hellscape he just witnessed with the peaceful, modern world he calls home. The conclusion is inescapable, a terrifying thought that takes root in his mind. This wasn't the history of some alien planet. It was a log of his own world's future, 10,000 years from now. Lu Sheng desperately tries to find another explanation. Hang on, they might not be the same. It could just be a coincidence, or maybe a parallel universe. He needs proof. He turns to the AI with a crucial request. Ellie, can you look up information about specific individuals? With bated breath, he gives her his own name. Lu Sheng. Ellie quickly completes the search, and dozens of holographic files materialize around him. He finds the file. It has his picture. Name, Lu Sheng. Lifespan, year 297 to year 325. Identity, civilian. His finger reaches out to the screen as the horrifying truth settles in. That's really me. He stares at his own bleak future, recorded in the database. What happened? I only lived to 28? On top of that, I'm just a civilian. His life was destined to be short and unremarkable, with a historical rating of none. To test the system's limits, Lu Sheng tries to make another query, asking Ellie to search for a person named Lu Sheng Su. A large red cross flashes before him. Access denied. Ellie informs him that guests do not have the required permissions to look up information on martial artists. To proceed, she says, please provide a genetic blood sample to be registered as a user. Lu Sheng understands. He needs to register. How do I do that? He asks, looking at his hand. Is there some sort of syringe installed in this thing? Before he can even finish his question about a syringe, Ellie provides a much more direct method. She floats forward, takes his finger, and to his absolute astonishment, bites down and begins sucking to draw the required blood sample. Completely caught off guard, Lu Sheng's face erupts in a blush as steam practically shoots from his ears. He tries to pull back, stammering. Wait, that's... Utterly unprepared for this kind of user registration. After taking the sample, Ellie releases his finger, leaving a single, perfect drop of blood on the tip. Still slightly dazed, Lu Sheng listens as Ellie announces, blood sample collected. Starting analysis. As the analysis proceeds, Ellie's eyes widen almost imperceptibly. The data she's seeing is not what she expected. Lu Sheng, having regained his composure, notices the AI's strange pause. What's wrong? He asks. Suddenly, a loud ding echoes as the interface turns a blaring red. Ellie's eyes are wide with surprise as the system announces the analysis of the human genetic blood sample is complete. A critical alert flashes across the screen. Project Fireseed initiated. Ellie connects to the Fireseed repository and full permissions are granted. The entire system is now operating under a new, urgent protocol. Lu Sheng is confused by the sudden change. Fireseed? What's that? He wonders aloud, connecting it to the last-ditch effort he just learned about. Does it have to do with the plan of abandoning the Earth in search of a new home planet? An entirely new profile of him appears, overriding the old one. His picture is different, showing him in a military uniform. His lifespan has increased by 9 years. He is now a level 4 martial artist who dies a lieutenant's death in battle. He has a full list of life achievements and a 2-star historical rating. The first thing he notices is his picture. Why does my profile pic look different? Staring at the completely rewritten file, the monumental truth dawns on him. A single, powerful question hangs in the air, filled with disbelief and burgeoning hope. Has the future changed? The answer is an undeniable yes. He immediately dives into the details of this new timeline, and it all starts with a pivotal moment, his graduation. The records show him achieving the best grades in the school, a foundational victory symbolized by a laurel of success and eyes glowing with newfound power. He reads the details of his new future. He graduated from Baiha High, placed 23rd in the city, and successfully enrolled in the prestigious Baiha Martial Arts University. 3 years after that, he joined the military. The record shows him among his fellow soldiers, his eyes glowing with a power they do not possess. He served in the Tian'an military division and ultimately died in the Southern War Zone. He died at 37, unmarried, a mere lieutenant with no outstanding contributions. It's a better life, but not by much. The realization hits him fully. Could it be that after I became stronger, the future changed too? He confirms that the trajectory of his life before 18 is identical in both records, including his recent surge in strength. Yet, he notes with some disappointment that in the face of history, that achievement didn't even cause a ripple. He sighs. In the vast database of humanity over 10,000 years, he can't even be considered a genius. There have been countless geniuses, but only a handful become legends that leave a mark on history. But then, a confident look appears on his face as he stares at the data stream. However, he declares, the data here is not perfect. He understands the system's logic. The records predict his vitality at the college entrance exams will be 2.012. He realizes this is the expected result if he only practices his body refinement and breathing techniques, disregarding his progress in the dream world. That's the flaw in its calculation. If he takes into account the cultivation and massive gains he's made in the dream world, he knows for a fact that he'll surpass those results for sure. This new confidence ignites a powerful ambition within him. Why should he, Lu Sheng, only be ranked 23rd in the city? No, he should be in the national rankings, with his name becoming one that everyone knows. With newfound determination burning in his eyes, he looks towards the possibilities ahead, thinking to himself with absolute conviction, my future will surely amount to more than that. He looks down at his own hand, feeling the power thrumming within him. He realizes the incredible truth of his situation. If I can change the future by growing stronger, then the fate of humanity's impending destruction will be averted by me, Lu Sheng. His personal struggle has now become a crusade. For his family, for his world, for everyone threatened by the coming apocalypse, he makes a vow. I'll turn things around and save us all. The day begins in a dense, urban apartment complex under a bright blue sky. Inside one of the apartments, we see the protagonist, Lu Sheng, having breakfast with his mother and younger sister, Lu Ling. His mother, while serving breakfast, notices he's not in his school attire and asks, Sheng, why haven't you changed into your school uniform? Don't you have school today? Lu Sheng smiles calmly and explains, my teacher said I can choose to study from home from now on. I don't have to go to school. His mother is surprised by this, but his sister, Lu Ling, eyes him with suspicion. She can't recall the school ever offering a self-study option and wonders what's really going on. Having finished his meal, Lu Sheng abruptly stands up, announcing that he's full. He informs his family that he's heading back to his room to train. While his mother is supportive and encourages his enthusiasm, Lu Ling continues to watch him with a thoughtful expression. As he walks away, Lu Ling's gaze sharpens, her suspicion about her brother growing. Her thoughts trail him as he walks away, a mysterious, dark aura seemingly clinging to him. She concludes that he's no longer the simple fool she knew. He's become someone far more complex and enigmatic. With a soft clack, the door to his room closes, separating him from the family's mundane world. The time for his real work has begun. Back in his room, Lu Sheng begins to stretch when his phone suddenly rings. The caller ID shows it's his teacher, Mr. Zhong. He picks up the phone, greeting his teacher. Mr. Zhong informs him that the scholarship money has arrived and tells him to come to the school in the afternoon to collect it. Lu Sheng thanks him and agrees. However, the teacher then questions why Lu Sheng wasn't at school, reminding him that they were supposed to discuss his academic schedule. A shadow crosses Lu Sheng's face as his determination hardens. He thinks to himself, I don't have much time left. I can't waste any more of it. He vaguely tells his teacher that he can't explain at the moment, ending the call before Mr. Zhong can protest. Putting the phone aside, Lu Sheng sits cross-legged, a powerful blue aura flaring up around him. He makes a firm decision. He will no longer hide his abilities. He will display his strength to its fullest extent and shock everyone. His resolve is absolute. He knows that only by displaying exceptional talent can he gain the resources he desperately needs. He must reach the peak of power in the shortest time possible to find a way to change the future. With that thought, his consciousness shifts. He finds himself standing in the desolate, cracked ruins of his room, the dreamscape of 10,000 years in the future. He points forward, summoning his guide in this world. A holographic AI named Ellie appears. Lu Sheng immediately commands her to pull up all the cultivation methods and martial arts knowledge that he has permission to access, ready to find the ultimate training techniques. Ellie processes his request, and the world around Lu Sheng transforms into a virtual city of data. The search completes, yielding a staggering 465,751 results, far more than he could ever sort through. Daunted by the sheer volume, he tells Ellie it's too much. He then refines the search, asking her to filter for techniques suitable for a rank 1 martial artist that are also the most worthwhile. Ellie acknowledges the new parameters and begins filtering the massive database. In an instant, the endless columns of data disappear, leaving only 3 holographic panels in front of a surprised Lu Sheng. His eyes widen as the realization hits him. These 3 must be the absolute best, the most elite techniques from all 10,000 years of martial history. The first is the stellar body refining technique. It was created by Wang He, a legendary rank 11 powerhouse, and was so valuable it was incorporated into a future initiative called Project Fireseed. The second is the natural breathing technique, developed by another rank 11 master from the World Martial Alliance, Yang Yizhou. And the third is the crystal visualization technique, also from a rank 11 powerhouse named Duan Yifeng and part of Project Fireseed. All 3 techniques were created by the strongest martial artists in history. Lu Sheng immediately begins practicing the first method, the stellar body refining technique. Its core principle is to transform the human body into a miniature universe. Following its guidance, he quiets all thoughts and keeps his mind completely focused. The process starts on a microscopic level, a fundamental reconstruction of his entire being. The technique guides him to condense his heart and mind into every single cell, refining his qi and blood to strengthen his physique from its very foundation. The goal of the technique is to transform each cell into a star with infinite power, turn flowing blood into a surging galaxy, and remake the inner body into a boundless starfield. By refining muscle density to terrifying heights, the user's defense and strength become unimaginably strong, while their vitality will blaze like a star, as majestic as the Milky Way. Completing his first session, Lu Sheng immediately moves on to the next skill, stage 1 of the natural breathing technique, known as fire breathing. As he practices, his body is instantly engulfed in a torrent of brilliant, roaring flames. He exhales slowly, wisps of fiery energy escaping his lips as he opens his eyes. Clutching his chest, he's shocked by the sensation. It feels as if countless flames are burning within him, making his very blood boil. He marvels that this is only the first of many elemental breathing techniques. Ready for the final challenge, he turns his attention to the last of the 3 ultimate skills, the crystal visualization technique. As he sits, Ellie explains that its purpose is to purify the mind and reinforce the will, allowing him to access the most mysterious aspect of martial arts, spiritual power. Understanding that this technique is the key to unlocking his spiritual power, Lu Sheng is enveloped in a calm, blue aura and fully commits to the attempt. His consciousness is immediately pulled inward, plunging into the ethereal mindscape, a vast cosmos within his own mind. Here, in this starry expanse, he must confront the very essence of his own will. Inside this strange, ethereal space, Lu Sheng's spirit form floats, questioning if this is the mindscape. Before him sits a giant, featureless version of himself, glowing with a soft purple light, representing his own willpower. His tiny, glowing blue form is dwarfed by the massive entity, illustrating the immense challenge of conquering his own will. Spiritual power is crucial in martial arts. An artist with a strong, focused will is leagues ahead of one mired with distractions, both in terms of combat power and cultivation speed. But Lu Sheng is completely baffled by the abstract nature of the technique. He has no idea how to even begin practicing, comically poking and prodding the giant figure to no effect. Letting out a sigh of frustration, he gives up for the time being. He concludes that he'll have to figure this difficult technique out slowly over time. His training session in the dreamscape ends as he opens his eyes back in the real world. Lu Sheng gasps for air, finding himself back in his room, but overcome with a level of exhaustion he's never felt before. This was clearly no ordinary dream. He's suddenly hit by a foul stench. Looking down at his body, he sees he's covered in a thick, black, grimy residue and wonders what this disgusting sweat is. Looking at his filth-covered hand, the realization dawns on him. The training in the dreamscape directly affects his physical body. A wide grin spreads across his face. This changes everything. Deciding he desperately needs a shower, he peels off his hoodie. He realizes the powerful techniques he just practiced have compounded, forcibly expelling the impurities from his body. It's almost too incredible to believe. Looking at his newly defined physique, Lu Sheng smirks. His cultivation is now improving at a tremendous speed. He plans to use the scholarship money he's about to receive to start refining powerful elixirs. He has access to the elixir database from 10,000 years in the future. These precious recipes won't just boost his own power. They are advanced enough to revolutionize the entire world's pharmaceutical industry. Later that day, after cleaning up, Lu Sheng arrives at Baihe Academy. He meets with his teacher, Mr. Zhong, who seems exasperated. He hands over the bank card for the scholarship, chiding Lu Sheng for not at least calling beforehand to say he'd be absent. Lu Sheng humbly takes the card and apologizes for causing his teacher trouble. Mr. Zhong accepts his new independent study arrangement, but makes one condition. Lu Sheng must attend school at least once a week. Lu Sheng agrees and is dismissed. As Lu Sheng leaves the office, Mr. Zhong watches him go, marveling at the change in the student he just met 2 days ago. He feels that he can no longer see through the kid at all. As Lu Sheng walks away, a mysterious aura surrounds him, symbolizing just how much he has transformed. Now with money in hand, Lu Sheng walks away from the academy, already focused on his next objective. He looks at the bank card. His intense training has left him with a severe lack of blood qi. He plans to use the advanced medical recipes from the future to create the most efficient supplements to solve this problem as soon as possible. Consulting the database from the future, Lu Sheng identifies the 2 most suitable supplements for his current condition: the muscle and blood-enhancing soup and the bone-nourishing pill. However, these aren't simple recipes. To create them properly, he needs professional equipment, as even the slightest mistake could render them useless. He needs to find a pharmaceutical lab. Standing outside a large modern pharmacy, he knows he can't possibly afford to buy a lab himself. His only hope is to try and rent the facility. His request is met with explosive disbelief. The first pharmacist he asks, a large, burly man with a thick beard, yells, "What? You want to rent our lab?" The pharmacist from Baichao Pharmacy angrily refuses, assuming Lu Sheng is a spy trying to steal their secret recipes and declaring that the lab is their most valuable facility. Without another word, the man physically throws Lu Sheng out of his store, screaming at him to get lost. Lu Sheng sighs in frustration. This is the 7th pharmacy he has tried, and as he expected, the answer is always a resounding no. He looks down at the bag he's carrying, already filled with all the rare and expensive ingredients needed to make several batches of the muscle and blood-enhancing soup. He pulls out the bank card from his teacher and checks the balance, discovering a surprising act of generosity. It wasn't just the 30K scholarship, there was 80K in total. He realizes with gratitude that Mr. Zhong must have invested his own money in him, providing a crucial financial boost. Though encouraged by his teacher's faith, he still hit a dead end. Dejected, Lu Sheng wanders into a shady back alley, figuring his only remaining option is to buy some basic equipment online and risk attempting the process himself. Just as he considers his next move, something catches his eye down the grimy alleyway. He finds a pharmacy standing in the middle of the shady, rundown area. Puzzled but seeing a glimmer of hope, he decides to try his luck one last time. He opens the door and steps inside, calling out to see if anyone is there. The place is an old-fashioned herbal pharmacy. Behind the counter, a young, trendy-looking man with a blonde undercut is slouched over, completely absorbed in his phone. The pharmacist finally looks up, clearly annoyed at having been interrupted. Barely giving Lu Sheng a glance, the pharmacist dismissively tells him to look around on his own and to bring whatever he wants to the counter to pay. He doesn't even look up from his screen as he lazily gestures towards a camera, warning that the store has surveillance. Lu Sheng is stunned by the terrible service. He thinks to himself that while the other pharmacists were rude, at least they acted like they were running a business. This guy seems completely uninterested. A peek at the pharmacist's phone reveals the source of his intense focus. A video of a cute girl dancing, which he watches with a goofy, captivated grin, completely oblivious to the world. This blatant disrespect is the final straw. With his patience gone, Lu Sheng slams his hand down on the counter and snatches the phone, finally shocking the lazy pharmacist out of his daze and sparking a confrontation. The pharmacist explodes with rage, cursing at Lu Sheng for daring to interrupt him and grab his property. But his anger quickly turns to terror. Lu Sheng leans in, his face cloaked in shadow and his eye glowing with a menacing aura. The pharmacist, now thoroughly intimidated, can barely stammer out a question. Realizing he's messed with the wrong person, the pharmacist's attitude does a complete 180. He nervously slides the phone back and asks what Lu Sheng wants. Having secured the pharmacist's full attention, Lu Sheng gets straight to the point and asks him if the pharmacy has a lab. With the power dynamic completely flipped, Lu Sheng smiles confidently. He taps the counter and says that if they do have a lab, he'd like to strike a deal. All right. Having infiltrated the high-tech lab, Lu Sheng rolls up his sleeves, ready to begin a groundbreaking experiment. He stands in the state-of-the-art facility, a place he doesn't belong but which holds the key to his advancement. With determination in his eyes, he declares, "Let's begin. This is my first time refining medicine." The first step is preparing the ingredients, knowledge he brought back from 10,000 years in the future. He holds up the primary component, a strange, mutated lizard with vibrant green scales. First, the mutated lizard's scales must be removed to activate its properties. Then, it's submerged in a solution with a neutralizer, its concentration fixed precisely at 35% and kept at a constant temperature. Next, Lu Sheng moves on to another rare ingredient, the condensed moonstone. He carefully operates a laser transmitter, setting it to a specific bandwidth to generate the radiation needed to liquefy the stone. This process converts the hard mineral into a liquid, which he collects and allows to cool. The final ingredient is a 30-gram portion of a petrified camellia branch. The mutated wood is extremely hard, requiring immense precision to cut. After processing all the bizarre ingredients and adjusting their medicinal properties, Lu Sheng mixes them in a precise ratio and order. A vibrant pink liquid swirls into existence inside a test tube, the muscle and blood-enhancing soup. He holds up the finished product, a triumphant look on his face. "I did it," he exclaims, amazed that he succeeded on his very first attempt. He marvels at the fact that he's holding a supplement that won't be invented for another 10,000 years. But creation is only half the battle. With no way to test its effects, there's only one path forward. Lu Sheng steels himself, knowing he'll only find out if his creation was a success after ingesting it himself. Without a moment's hesitation, he brings the test tube to his lips and drinks the otherworldly concoction, ready to face the consequences of his gamble on the future. After drinking the entire vial, Lu Sheng waits for a reaction. A moment passes, but he feels nothing. The liquid was tasteless and odorless. A cold dread washes over him as he wonders, did I fail? Suddenly, the potion hits him like a freight train. A violent, overwhelming force courses through his body, the world distorting around him as his system is flooded with power. The power is too much to handle at once. Lu Sheng collapses to the floor of the lab, his body spasming as it struggles to process the immense surge of energy from the futuristic supplement. The ordeal ends as quickly as it began. Lu Sheng picks himself up, panting but feeling an incredible surge of power. He realizes the supplement was a massive success, not only replenishing his depleted blood qi, but granting him a massive surplus. He inspects himself in disbelief. The effects are beyond his wildest dreams, with no apparent side effects. This incredible supplement from 10,000 years in the future is truly unbelievable. Meanwhile, outside the lab, a voice cries out, "Our boss. She's back." The true owner of the facility has arrived, completely unaware of the trespasser inside. A sleek, black high heel steps onto the pavement, signaling the arrival of a powerful and elegant figure. This is Miss He, the owner of the lab. She appears weary and stressed, burdened by the weight of her family's struggling pharmaceutical company. Unaware that a miracle has just occurred within its walls, Miss He walks toward her private lab. the one place she feels she might find a breakthrough to save her family's legacy. She carries a box of familiar supplies, the tools for the same outdated formulas her company has relied on for years. It's a heavy burden, representing her desperate attempt to innovate where there seems to be no innovation left. Inside the lab, Miss He is overwhelmed by stress and exhaustion, wiping the sweat from her brow. She takes a dose of her own company's latest product, a desperate attempt to find some hope in her work. But it's no good. She slams the vial down in frustration, furious that the medicinal effects are beyond poor and its properties aren't even activating. As if to mock her failure, a flashy commercial plays on a nearby screen, showcasing a muscular celebrity martial artist advertising a competitor's successful product. She glares at the ad for Dragon Lake testosterone pills, a bitter reminder of how far behind her own company has fallen. Her eyes burn with intensity as she thinks about the rapidly developing martial arts world. New and better prescriptions are being created every day, leaving her family's legacy in the dust. She looks at a broken family photo. The reason for their decline is clear. They have been too conservative, clinging to old habits while the world moved on. Her company, Xingshan Medicinal Hall, is still selling the same old remedies from 100 years ago. In the modern market, they've completely lost their competitive edge. The pressure is immense. If she can't find new medicinal prescriptions, the family business her father personally entrusted to her will be finished. Biting her nail to the point of breaking, she curses her situation. Damn it! Her despair turns into grim resolve. Forget it. If we don't have the capability to develop new products ourselves, we'll just have to collaborate with experienced alchemical masters. Thinking of a rival, she declares, Mr. Zhang from the neighboring city has just developed a new medicinal prescription. I must get my hands on it this time. With her mind made up, she spins around and heads for the exit, determined to chase down this last hope for her family's legacy. As she exits the lab, she's met by a startled man peeking from behind a curtain. It's her assistant, Ma Fei. And Miss He stammers. Weren't you going to the neighboring city today? He's clearly nervous about her early return, especially since he appears to be hiding a girl behind the curtain with him. But his nervousness is quickly replaced by a goofy, love-struck daydream. He fawns over Miss He's beauty, her cool demeanor, and declares her his one and only goddess. His delusion deepens as he imagines himself as her heroic protector, the only one giving his goddess unwavering protection as her family's empire weakens. Just as his fantasy reaches its peak, with him and his lovebird living happily ever after, reality crashes down. Ma Fei! Missy's furious shout snaps him out of his reverie. She storms out, her eyes blazing. Explain this, she demands. Did you secretly bring someone into my alchemical lab? Sighing in frustration at the mess, she begins cleaning the lab herself, annoyed that she'll have to wash and disinfect every single piece of equipment. But as she cleans, her expert eye catches something unusual. She finds the tank that held the green-scaled lizard, but notices that its valuable scales have been removed, a bizarre preparation method she's never heard of. She chuckles dismissively, assuming it was just another amateur with their head in the clouds trying to develop a prescription. She scoffs at the idea, knowing that it requires vast pharmacological knowledge and endless experiments, not just building castles in the sky. However, her condescending smile fades as a bitter thought occurs to her. Berating someone for placing their hopes on something completely unrealistic. Isn't that exactly what she's doing right now with her own desperate plans? The irony leaves a sour taste in her mouth as she continues cleaning. Continuing to clean, she finds a broken test tube on the floor. All right, she sighs sarcastically. On top of worming into my lab and using my equipment, they also broke a few things. How wonderful. How many more surprises are in store for me today? But as she reaches down, a faint wisp of pink energy rising from the broken vial catches her eye, stopping her in her tracks. She picks up a shard of glass. The appearance and the faint smell of the residue are unlike anything she has ever encountered, and her pharmacist's instincts begin to tingle. Her expert eye identifies traces of condensed moonstone and lithified tuna tree root, a combination that should be impossible. Her mind races, trying to comprehend a prescription she's never even heard of. Could it be? She wonders, her heart pounding. Her curiosity and desperation overriding her caution, she carefully collects a tiny drop of the mysterious pink residue onto her fingertip. In a decision that could change everything, she tastes the unknown substance. For a brief moment, There is nothing but the taste as her highly trained senses analyze the impossible formula. Suddenly, her eyes snap open, glowing with a brilliant pink light as the immense power of the supplement washes over her. The realization is instantaneous and earth-shattering. This is... Elsewhere, the now unemployed Ma Fei shuffles away, dragging his luggage and his broken heart. He curses the stranger who paid him for access to the lab, consumed by the regret of a decision that cost him everything. He casts one last, heartbroken look over his shoulder, unable to accept that his perceived destiny with his goddess has ended so abruptly. He sends out a desperate prayer. "Oh God, just let me see my goddess again." His prayer is answered almost instantly. In the distance, he sees Miss He running towards him, waving her arms. He stares in utter disbelief. "Huh? Ho!" She sprints towards him, desperately yelling his name. "Ma Fei! Ma Fei! Don't go! Stop right there!" Ma Fei is overcome with emotion, moved to tears. He completely misinterprets her desperation as a sign of affection. "Miss He! No Susu," he cries. He erupts in a fountain of joy, throwing his arms wide. "I knew it. I knew you cared for me. I'm not going anywhere. My place is eternally by your side." He's about to call her my darling Sue, when she violently grabs him by the collar, his romantic fantasy shattering in an instant. The romantic mood is gone. "Just now, who used my alchemical lab?" she screams, shaking him furiously. Her priorities have completely changed. "Are you deaf? I'm telling you. I want to meet him," she yells. "If you can find him, you can come back to work. I'll also double your pay." "Got it." Stunned by the emotional whiplash, Ma Fei frantically pulls out his phone. I have his contact dash." "Give it to me," she yells, and with her prize in hand, she sends the stunned Ma Fei flying without a second thought. Staring at the phone, the full weight of her discovery hits her. A blood-strengthening effect 10 times greater than products costing $100,000. It even improves skin. And the cost of production? Less than $5,000. Her conclusion is earth-shattering. This new tonic is world-class. Holding the phone, a fire of determination burns in Miss He's eyes. "Finally, I found it," she declares. This is the He family's chance. The scene shifts to Lu Sheng, who is now back home. He is radiating an immense blue aura, the raw power of the futuristic supplement coursing through him like lightning. He enters a state of deep cultivation, his eyes closed as he focuses the massive energy, which swirls like a galaxy at the center of his being. He opens his eyes, which now glow with a piercing blue light, a clear sign of his dramatically increased power and vitality. In the quiet of his room, he examines the incredible changes to his physique. He marvels at the stellar body refining technique, a rank 11 martial art whose ability to unlock the human body's potential is beyond comprehension. At this rate, he feels he could give rise to an actual star within his body. He also reflects on the phenomenal power of the natural breathing technique, realizing that it works in perfect harmony with the body refining method, each one amplifying the effects of the other. His vitality has soared thanks to the decoction. He made 12 portions, but his enhanced physique now requires 2 portions a day. He only has a 6-day supply, meaning the clock is already ticking for him to find a way to produce more. Just then, his train of thought is interrupted by his phone ringing. He glances at the unknown number with a hint of annoyance. He picks up the phone, his expression calm and unreadable as he answers the unknown number, betraying none of the incredible power surging within him. The moment he says a simple, "hello," a frantic voice erupts from the other end. It's Hisusu, who quickly introduces herself and, barely taking a breath, tells him she's seen the tonic, knows it's an epic-making product, and desperately wants to collaborate. Lu Sheng remains perfectly calm. Sure. Let's meet in 1 week's time," he says before hanging up. Missy is left stunned and desperate. 1 week. Hello. 1 week. No way, she panics, immediately grabbing the bewildered Ma Fei once again. She gives him a new mission, find the mysterious master. The sooner the better. She offers him his job back and a $10,000 bonus for every day less than 6 that it takes. Ma Fei's despair instantly turns into pure ecstasy. "Oh really? Boss, you gotta keep your word," he exclaims, his loyalty bought back in an instant. But a moment of confusion hits him. But boss, did you get something wrong?" He's still trying to understand why she's so desperate to find the person he was just fired for. The scene shifts. Having set the meeting, Lu Sheng logs back into the future dreamscape. He stands in the desolate wasteland, facing a tall, imposing figure, the opponent he must defeat to level up. Lu Sheng's eyes glow with power and confidence. He is no longer the weakling who was easily defeated. "Huff, bring it on," he says. Today's goal. His target is a fearsome, undead martial artist from a forgotten time. "Is you," Lu Sheng declares, his voice filled with resolve. He remembers his last attempt, a humiliating defeat where the undead warrior effortlessly crushed his face. But this time is different. Fueled by the futuristic supplement, Lu Sheng closes the distance in an instant and lands the first blow, a devastating punch squarely in the undead warrior's chest, signaling the start of his true test. As Lu Sheng lands his blow, the undead warrior responds by crushing a dark orb in its hand, unleashing a torrent of sinister purple energy. The real battle has just begun. Continuing from the last chapter, Lu Sheng's dream world battle reaches its climax. With a final, decisive blow, he defeats the powerful zombie, sending the remnant of the level 4 martial artist falling into the abyss. To overcome the powerful foe, Lu Sheng focuses all his energy into a single point, preparing to unleash a devastating counterattack. However, the zombie is overwhelmingly strong. It lands a crushing punch, throwing Lu Sheng off balance. Struggling against the attack, Lu Sheng grits his teeth. He realizes the monster's strength is immense, at least double his own. The zombie roars, knowing it has the upper hand. It refuses to give Lu Sheng any chance to recover, believing a head-on assault is all it needs. It gathers its power, a malevolent, bloody aura erupting from its body as it prepares to finish the fight. A vortex of dark energy swirls around the zombie's fist, a technique so powerful it seems to warp the space around it. The monstrous being lunges from above, aiming its ultimate strike at Lu Sheng, who watches from below, unflinching. A close-up reveals the zombie's face, a mask of pure horror that hints at the fallen martial artist's tragic past. Despite facing such a terrifying foe, Lu Sheng doesn't back down. He meets the zombie's assault with his own, unleashing a rapid flurry of counterpunches against its torso. The zombie stumbles back, wounded by Lu Sheng's relentless assault, its glowing eyes fixed on him. Seeing an opening, Lu Sheng leaps into the air, his eyes blazing with power, and brings his leg down in a devastating axe kick. The kick connects with immense force, creating a blinding flash of light as Lu Sheng unleashes his ultimate technique, finally ending the grueling battle. As the zombie's body begins to dissolve into black smoke, Lu Sheng stands over it, panting heavily from exhaustion. A somber realization dawns on him. This creature wasn't just a monster. It was once a hero who died in battle on the front lines, hunting monsters to protect the city. He understands now that these nightly battles are not games. He isn't just farming for experience. He is fighting the tormented spirits of fallen humans. Lu Sheng stands in respectful silence as the last remnants of the warrior dissipate, promising that its heroic spirit will never disappear. He reflects on the battle, realizing with a start that the creature was actually a level 5 powerhouse before its death. He admits to himself that he wouldn't have stood a chance if his opponent hadn't lost its intelligence and was only fighting on muscle memory. Lu Sheng analyzes his own growth. For nearly a week, he has cultivated future techniques like the fixed star body refining technique and crystal visualization technique. By combining these with a spiritual tonic and absorbing fighting techniques from memory, he can release 100-fold of his usual strength. The dream world fades. Lu Sheng sluggishly gets up in his room, the desolate, rocky wasteland of his battle giving way to the familiar sight of his bedroom. Back in his dream, Lu Sheng thinks about the new merged skill he has developed, a powerful force that annihilates the zombies around him. He decides to name it, Fixed Star Outburst. As he screams the name, a wave of energy erupts from his body, obliterating the horde of monsters in a single brilliant flash. Having woken up and reflected on his progress, Lu Sheng arrives at the Hongchuan Martial Arts Center, determined to quantify his explosive growth. He walks up to the front desk and greets the purple-haired receptionist. Without wasting any time, he gets straight to the point. "I would like to rent a testing machine." The receptionist recognizes him immediately. "Little boy, why are you here again?" she teases, doubting that his blood and chi value could possibly increase in such a short time. Lu Sheng smiles sheepishly, explaining he just wants to push his limits. The receptionist laughs, noting that this is his second visit this month, something unheard of for ordinary people. Amused, she tells him room 206 is available and wishes him the best. As he walks to the testing room, Lu Sheng muses that no one would bother testing so often if their strength wasn't growing at an exceptional rate. He decides to start with his blood and chi value. He places his hand on the machine, and the result is astonishing. A blood and chi value of 15.632. He's momentarily stunned by the massive increase, a number that far surpasses the standard for a level 2 martial artist. His shock quickly turns into a confident smirk. He reflects on his unique advantage, combining supreme martial arts from the future with advanced medicinal knowledge. With such a powerful combination, he concludes, a growth rate this crazy isn't just possible, it's expected. Satisfied with his blood and chi value, Lu Sheng rolls up his sleeves. Alright, let's test my battle power next. He throws a casual punch at the test dummy, but the impact creates a brilliant flash of light, showcasing his raw power. The dummy sizzles and smokes from the sheer force of the blow. As the smoke clears, the holographic display reveals his score. Lu Sheng stares at the number, momentarily surprised. His battle power value is 3137, a figure that is more than double the standard for his level. He ponders the result. It's not just his fighting technique. He realizes that if he were to use his full power, the limit of his battle power would be even more absurd. A determined glint appears in his eye. Let's try it again. He decides to unleash his true power. He takes his stance and with a powerful cry, unleashes the full force of his fixed star outburst. His secret test complete, a satisfied Lu Sheng leaves the training room and heads back towards the front desk. The receptionist, looking up from her paperwork, notices his approach with a curious hum. As he arrives at the counter, she greets him with a familiar, teasing smile. Done already, little boy. You look pretty satisfied with yourself, she observes. With a confident glint in his eyes, Lu Sheng confirms, yeah, I'm very satisfied. As he thanks the receptionist and turns to leave, another girl walks past. The receptionist, assuming he's preparing for exams, cheerfully wishes him luck. Lu Sheng departs, completely unaware of the storm his anonymous test results are about to create. The receptionist turns her attention to the new arrivals. A beautiful, athletic young woman with pink hair, introduced as Ni Shuang, the daughter of the center's director, and her energetic, red-haired junior. The receptionist gushes about the handsome high school student who just left. Ni Shuang teases her, asking if she's been smitten, but the receptionist just laughs it off, admitting he was quite good-looking. Her junior, Lanner, scoffs at this. He arrogantly declares that looks are pointless. In this world, martial prowess is king. He dismisses the boy as a commoner whose constant testing is futile. Ni Shuang internally agrees with the sentiment that the rich cultivate while the poor can only study. Resources, like the countless supplements Lanner has taken since he was young, play a massive role in one's martial prowess. She continues to muse that with all his advantages, which allow him to cultivate various martial arts and widen the gap with his peers, it's hard for Lanner not to be arrogant. Just as Lanner is feeling smug, Ni Shuang suddenly smacks him hard on the back of his head. She sternly reprimands him. Don't compare yourself to kids from regular families. Since you have better resources, you should train even harder. A terrified Lanner can only sob and agree. An idea suddenly strikes the tearful Lanner. He quickly recovers and eagerly asks Ni Shuang if he can see the test results of the student who just left, wanting to compare them. He whines that he wants to see if his own hard work has paid off against someone a few years older. Ni Shuang seems annoyed by his pestering. Sighing, she gives in but warns him not to get overconfident, reminding him that he's comparing himself to an ordinary person. Lanner gleefully agrees. The receptionist hands Ni Shuang a tablet with the results, since he was the only one to test today. She reads the name, Lu Sheng. As expected, he's a high schooler. But as her eyes scan the details, her casual expression shatters, replaced by one of absolute, wide-eyed shock. This is. Lanner is so stunned by the numbers he sees that he falls to the floor, stammering. That assessment machine, is it broken? The receptionist, Ling, immediately denies it, insisting the machine was serviced just yesterday. The implication hangs heavy in the air. Ni Shuang's face hardens, her mind racing to process the unbelievable truth. If the machine isn't broken, then that means the results are real. Her casual demeanor shatters, replaced by a frantic urgency. She grills the receptionist, Ling, for Lu Sheng's contact details. Learning he's not a member, she immediately orders all available staff to gather information on every student in the area. "We must find him," she commands. "Hurry." Ai Shuang stares at the name on the screen. Lu Sheng. Her mind races, while Lanner still looks on in a daze. A fire is lit in her eyes. This anonymous prodigy has shattered her understanding of martial arts. She makes a silent, determined vow. "I will definitely find you." Meanwhile, blissfully unaware of the chaos he left behind, Lu Sheng takes a taxi across the city. The driver is extremely friendly, laughing and even offering to introduce Lu Sheng to his daughter, much to Lu Sheng's awkward amusement. After getting out of the cab, Lu Sheng shakes his head with a smile, thinking the driver was way too passionate. He regrets not just telling him his real destination. He arrives at the imposing Baihe City Martial Arts Association. He figures if he had told the driver he was here for a Rank 2 assessment, the man would have thought he was crazy. Inside, the atmosphere is tense. An applicant is thrown back from a machine, yelling in disbelief after failing his assessment, crying out that his power level was much higher at home. Other applicants watch on. One explains that the association's machines are custom-made with much higher precision. Another sighs, realizing their scores need to be well above the standard just to pass here. This news doesn't discourage Lu Sheng. Instead, he smiles. Higher precision? That's great, he thinks. I can finally get a definitive grasp on my true abilities. He looks around the grand, bustling hall of the official Martial Arts Association, ready to take the next step and get his official rank. Lu Sheng approaches the front desk. After he states his purpose, a busy receptionist hands him a form and tells him to fill it out and head to room 5203. As he takes the form and turns around, he is taken aback by what he sees. A massive, seemingly endless queue of people snakes through the hall. This queue is crazy long. He thinks in dismay. He gets in line, sighing. He doesn't have time to waste, but there seems to be no other choice. While waiting, he overhears other applicants talking about a pretty girl in the line, wondering if she's also here for the assessment. The crowd murmurs in admiration for the stylish young woman, who carries herself with an air of cool confidence. They remark that she must have both looks and talent. Lu Sheng observes that most people here are around 25. While he is already considered young, he notes that this girl seems even younger than him. Suddenly, a commotion begins. A massively built man appears, making his way to the front of the line. It's the arrogant martial artist, Zhao Chongfeng. He rudely shoves people aside, telling them to let him pass, completely ignoring the queue. Right in his path, a hopeful young man named Yuer is being cheered on by his partner. Lost in their happy moment, he excitedly proclaims he's about to embark on a new stage of life, unaware of the arrogant powerhouse approaching from behind. Zhao Chongfeng taps the hopeful young man, Yuer, on the shoulder, interrupting his happy moment. Without waiting for a response, he grabs the man and contemptuously shoves him aside, coldly demanding that everyone make way. The crowd stares in awe at his incredible physique as he strides past, with people commenting on how huge he is. Some people are outraged by his rudeness, shouting that it's first come, first serve. A guard quickly steps in to handle the situation. But instead of reprimanding the line cutter, the guard looks at his application and declares, he can. He informs the angry crowd that Zhao Chongfeng deserves to go first. The reason for this special treatment is revealed. Zhao Chongfeng is there to take the Rank 3 Martial Artist Certification Assessment. A wave of shock ripples through the crowd. The woman who had just been shouting is left speechless, stunned to be in the presence of someone attempting such a high rank. The stylish young girl who Lu Sheng had noticed earlier remarks that this is a rare sight, as there are only about 10 Rank 3 martial artists in the entire city of Baihe. Lu Sheng watches the scene unfold, unfazed. He understands this world's fundamental rule playing out before him. Strength is supreme, and with it comes the privilege to stand above the rest. As if to put that privilege on full display, an assessor's voice booms over the crowd, calling for Zhao Chongfeng to step forward. The public spectacle begins, starting with the vitality assessment. The crowd grumbles as Zhao Chongfeng takes the stage. The woman who was shoved aside complains about his arrogance, pointing out that just taking the test doesn't guarantee he'll become a Rank 3 martial artist. But her complaints are cut short when the vitality score flashes on the screen. 107. The number is far beyond the requirement, and the crowd erupts in shock. It's the first time many of them have ever seen a vitality score surpass 100. The assessor, impressed, calls for the next and final test, the combat power assessment. Zhao Chongfeng unleashes a devastating punch, and the impact creates a massive shockwave that radiates through the entire hall. The sheer wind pressure from the blow is incredible, blasting through the crowd of applicants and sending them flying. Even Lu Sheng, standing far back in the line, is forced to brace himself against the powerful gust. The assessor stares, wide-eyed and sweating, at the unbelievable result displayed on the machine. He announces the combat power index in a trembling voice, a staggering 10,831. Zhao Chongfeng looks on with satisfaction as smoke rises from his fist. Breaking the stunned silence, the assessor makes the formal announcement. He congratulates Zhao Chongfeng on passing the test, certifying him as a new rank 3 martial artist and informing him of the generous monthly allowance he has earned. The force of his punch has literally blown the other applicants away. From the stage, Zhao Chongfeng looks down on the scattered crowd, a clear display of the overwhelming power that separates a high-ranking martial artist from the hopeful masses. The crowd is still reeling. The stylish girl summarizes his power, calling him a Terminator, for having a vitality over 100 and a combat power over 10,000. But as the crowd buzzes with excitement, Lu Sheng watches calmly, thinking to himself with a hint of disdain, "Is that the standard of a rank 3 martial artist?" A nearby woman overhears his quiet comment and is baffled by his audacity. She thinks he's acting like a big shot for simply managing to stand firm in the wind pressure. Ignoring the whispers, Lu Sheng walks up to the assessor, who is still recovering from the previous test. "Can I go next?" he asks. He stands confidently before the official. After Zhao Chongfeng's overwhelming display, the line has completely vanished, leaving the testing area empty. The assessor is impressed. Oh, after seeing that punch just now, he can still be so calm. He praises Lu Sheng's mentality and calls him forward for his assessment. As Lu Sheng places his hand on the vitality machine, the assessor kindly tells him not to be nervous. But his words are cut short as the machine instantly lights up. The assessor is stunned into silence. The reading on the screen is 15.7, an incredibly high number for someone so young. The unbelievable score sends a fresh wave of hysteria through the onlookers. The same woman who had dismissed Lu Sheng just moments ago now screams in disbelief, questioning if he's really only 17. What the hell? It's not blood but tonics that's flowing through his veins, right? The commotion even catches the attention of the mighty Zhao Chongfeng. The newly certified rank 3 artist turns to look, a flicker of genuine interest crossing his face as he notes how remarkable it is for someone so young to possess that level of vitality. Next up is the combat power assessment. The assessor, trying to be encouraging, tells Lu Sheng to relax and not let Zhao Chongfeng's earlier punch get to him, reassuring him that he can test as many times as he needs. But Lu Sheng just smiles calmly. "Thanks, but it's okay," he says, startling the assessor with his next words. "Once will be enough." He takes his stance and unleashes his full power. A brilliant, cosmic purple energy erupts around his fist as he throws a punch that seems to hold the power of the stars themselves. The arrogant confidence on Zhao Chongfeng's face vanishes, replaced by pure shock and a bead of sweat as he witnesses a power that rivals his own. The onlookers are completely mesmerized, the incredible, stellar energy of the attack reflected in their wide eyes. A deafening impact echoes through the hall as a blinding purple light engulfs the entire room, leaving everyone in stunned silence, waiting to see the unbelievable result of the boy who only needed one punch. A loud cracking sound echoes as the strength-testing machine, unable to handle the immense power, shatters into countless pieces. An onlooker smirks as he watches the machine break. In the cracked reflection, the silhouette of Lu Sheng, the one who delivered the punch, is visible, while another person tries to capture the unbelievable moment on camera. The onlookers are thrown into a state of chaos. A girl with her hair tied back and a man with purple hair are seen with their mouths agape, completely stunned by the shocking display of power. From Lu Sheng's point of view, his fist is still clenched as the broken machine's display flickers wildly. It finally settles on a combat power index of 15,709, a number so absurdly high it leaves everyone questioning if it's even real. The focus shifts to Lu Sheng himself, steam rising from his body as he lets out a breath. He reflects internally that after breaking through his previous limits and integrating his advanced breathing techniques, his power has undergone a massive evolution. A confident, satisfied smile appears on Lu Sheng's face. He is pleased to realize his combat power has soared to 10 times the standard value, finally understanding the true charm and potential of the martial arts skills he possesses. A middle-aged assessor from the Martial Arts Association, holding Lu Sheng's file, stammers in utter disbelief. He begins by congratulating Lu Sheng for passing the Level 1 assessment, but his voice cracks as he realizes the truth, shouting that this power doesn't just surpass a Level 2 artist, but even a Level 3. The assessor, now completely flustered, rushes towards Lu Sheng. He apologizes for his inability to properly evaluate him, promising that the association would never bury a genius of his caliber and that he will report this to the highest authority immediately. Waving the test result like a trophy, the frantic assessor runs off, shouting that he'll put his own job on the line to ensure Lu Sheng gets a satisfactory result. In the background, Lu Sheng is left speechless, simply uttering a confused "aha" as the man disappears. Lu Sheng stands alone in the now quiet hall. Thinking the assessment is over, he turns to leave, wondering if he can finally go home. The commotion he caused seems to be the furthest thing from his mind. Just as Lu Sheng is about to leave, a towering, muscular man in a tank top with intensely glowing eyes blocks his path. His powerful aura identifies him as a formidable martial artist. The man, a Level 3 martial artist named Zhao Chongfeng, places his hand just above Lu Sheng's head, stopping him in his tracks. Lu Sheng looks up, startled by the sudden intervention. Lu Sheng calmly assesses Zhao Chongfeng, his expression unreadable. There's no fear in his eyes, only a quiet and calculating observation of the powerful man before him. Zhao Chongfeng breaks into a wide, intense grin. It's not a look of aggression, but one of sheer excitement and admiration for the incredible power he has just witnessed. Before Zhao Chongfeng can say anything, the crowd of onlookers swarms around Lu Sheng. People desperately try to shake his hand, get his attention, and snap photos, all shouting Mr. Lu, hoping to connect with the new prodigy. Overwhelmed, Lu Sheng makes a break for it, fleeing from the chaotic mob. Meanwhile, the assessor from before realizes that Zhao Chongfeng cleverly held Lu Sheng in place, giving the crowd time to catch up. Cursing the martial artist's quick thinking, the assessor chases after Lu Sheng, yelling for him to wait. Having finally escaped the building, Lu Sheng walks through a quiet outdoor plaza. He spots a familiar face among a group of 3 young women and calls out, "Qinghe, what brings you here?" His sister, a young woman named Qinghe, turns around and confronts him with an annoyed expression. "Shouldn't I be asking you that?" she retorts. "What is a slacker like you, who sleeps in his room all day, doing here?" Her friend with short blonde hair looks on, amused. Lu Sheng is momentarily taken aback, wondering how his sister knows about his sleeping habits. He quickly recovers, scratching his cheek with a confident smirk, and coolly says, "Ahem, I came to do something." He then turns the tables, asking, "What about you guys? What are you doing here at the Martial Arts Association?" Eagerly stepping forward, the cheerful, blonde-haired girl introduces herself as Feng Fanfan and points to her quiet, pink-haired friend, calling her Su Nuo. With an admiring glance at Lu Sheng, she explains, "Hello, Brother Lu. We're classmates of Qinghe. We came today to accompany our sister Yang for her assessment." Feng Fanfan continues to compliment Lu Sheng, noting how handsome he is and how different he is from the slacker his sister always complains about. In the background, Qinghe fumes at her friends for siding with her brother, while Lu Sheng simply laughs and thanks them. Lu Sheng continues to tease his sister, asking if she's forgotten who raised her. Qinghe, embarrassed and flustered in front of her friends, retorts sarcastically, calling him her old dear mother. With a final, playful pat on Qinghe's head, Lu Sheng says his goodbyes and turns to leave. While her friends cheerfully wave him off, Qinghe is left annoyed and flustered by her brother's teasing. As Lu Sheng walks away, Feng Fanfan remarks that his relationship with his sibling seems quite good. Qinghe furiously denies it, calling her friends traitors for being charmed by him. Their argument is cut short when Su Nuo points towards the building, announcing that their friend, Sister Yang, is coming out. A young woman with a determined look and a sporty purple outfit, Yang Yuan, emerges from the association building. Qinghe and her friends rush over to greet her, eagerly asking if she managed to pass her assessment. Yang Yuan lets out a heavy sigh, her face clouded with disappointment. Don't mention it, she says, explaining that an unexpected accident occurred, causing the entire assessment to be suspended until later that afternoon. Her friends are stunned by the news. An accident? Ching-hee asks, wondering aloud what kind of incident could possibly be serious enough to halt the official Martial Arts Association assessment. The scene flashes back to what Yang Yuan witnessed inside, a boy her age, radiating a demonic blue aura. She recalls his terrifying stats: a blood value of 15.7 and a combat power level exceeding 15,000, far surpassing even a level 3 martial artist. Back in the present, Yang Yuan stands with her arms crossed, completely dejected. She confesses that she had always been proud of her own martial arts talent, but after witnessing the overwhelming power of that guy, she realized her own abilities were just a joke in comparison. Ching-hee and Feng Fanfan look at their friend, shocked to see the usually confident Yang Yuan so shaken. Processing the story of this unbelievable monster, Feng Fanfan voices the question on both their minds. Sister Yang, by the way, do you know the name of this person? A close-up on Yang Yuan's face. After a moment of hesitation, recalling the monstrous power she witnessed, she reveals the name of the boy who caused the commotion. His name is Lu Sheng. The name hits Ching-hee like a physical blow. She stands frozen in disbelief, her mind refusing to connect the monster her friend is describing with her lazy brother. Huh, is all she can manage to say, while Feng Fanfan shares her shock. The scene cuts away to Lu Sheng, who is completely oblivious to the bombshell that just dropped. He casually eats a bun as he walks down the street, while Ching-hee's shocked internal monologue, "My brother?" hangs in the air. As he continues on his way, Lu Sheng passes a group of gossiping women. They point to a group of intimidating men down the street, identifying them as members of the Hongchuan Martial Arts Hall who are aggressively searching for someone, speculating that whoever provoked them is in for a world of hurt. Lu Sheng glances at his phone, ignoring an incoming call. He briefly remembers the Hongchuan Martial Arts Hall as the place he took a test before, but quickly dismisses their current activities, thinking it has nothing to do with him. A close-up of his phone shows the call he's ignoring is from a man named Ma Fei, an employee of the Philanthropy Hall, who seems persistent in trying to reach him. Deciding to ignore the calls for now, Lu Sheng continues on his way home. He contemplates his next move, thinking about the valuable future prescriptions he possesses. He knows they could make him rich, but he must be cautious and thoroughly investigate any potential buyers first. An establishing shot shows a humble, aging apartment complex, indicating Lu Sheng has returned to his unassuming home. Back in the privacy of his room, the casual student disappears. A close-up on Lu Sheng's eyes reveals a sharp, focused intensity, the look of a man shouldering the weight of a future only he has seen. He places his hand on a sleek, black device on his desk. "AI, activate," he commands. As the holographic female AI materializes with a crisp eye, Lu Sheng prepares for the real task at hand, to see if his actions have changed the future he is so desperately trying to escape. He asks the AI to show his personal history. It projects a potential future timeline. A man named Lu Sheng, who becomes a level 6 martial artist, has a family, and dies at 87 in a beast attack, earning a meager 2-star evaluation. Lu Sheng stares at the projection, his mind racing. The AI narrates this projected life, showing a young Lu Sheng causing a sensation in Baihe City as a level 2 martial artist, before eventually graduating from university and serving in the military. The history file continues, depicting a middle-aged Lu Sheng with a scar on his face after retiring from the military. In this timeline, he returns to his hometown of Baihe City and founds his own martial arts hall. Finally, the AI shows him as an old man, having reached level 6 at age 45, but failing to achieve the rank of Grandmaster. The timeline concludes with his death at 87, killed by a strange beast during an attack. Seeing this, Lu Sheng feels a surge of hope. Sure enough, the future can be changed, he exclaims. He recalls that his previous projected fate was to die as a level 4 martial artist at 37. Now, his potential has skyrocketed, proving that his actions have a real impact on his destiny. But his optimism is short-lived. His expression hardens as he looks at the screen. But, he thinks to himself with grim determination, this is far from enough. His mind flashes to the apocalyptic world he's seen in his dreams, filled with horrifying monsters. He realizes that these small changes to his personal fate are meaningless to the world's future. To alter the course of humanity 10,000 years from now, he needs infinitely more strength. He envisions the desolate, ruined future he is fighting to prevent. He understands that becoming a level 6 martial artist is insignificant. Even reaching level 7, 8, or the legendary level 9 martial saint would be utterly powerless against such a catastrophic fate. He reaches a hand towards the projection of his own destiny. He concludes that if he wants to truly shake fate and change that horrifying ending, the only way is to achieve mastery beyond anything the world has ever known. Only by breaking through to level 10 or even level 11 is there a glimmer of hope. Surrounded by a burning aura of pure resolve, Lu Sheng solidifies his decision. He knows the chance of success is slim, but he has made up his mind to walk this impossibly difficult path. There is no turning back. The scene opens with a hand gracefully practicing calligraphy. On a video call, an unseen figure praises President Zhao's immense mental fortitude, noting that with such strength, it is only a matter of time before he reaches the legendary Great Master realm. As the calligraphy brush moves, a man in a suit and sunglasses appears on a large screen. This is the old leader, a superior figure who sighs and tells President Zhao that it would be better if he put as much effort into educating the next generation as he does into his own practice. The calligrapher is revealed to be Xiao Yuhe, the president of the Baihe Martial Artist Association. With a tired expression, he chuckles and asks the old leader to stop teasing him. However, Xiao Yuhe's demeanor instantly shifts to one of serious concern. His eyes widen as the old leader reminds him of a pressing matter: the upcoming training camp. The old leader continues, reminding him that their organization, Baihe, hasn't sent a worthy participant in years. He stresses that not sending anyone would be the greatest embarrassment and sternly commands Xiao Yuhe to protect Baihe's reputation this time, no matter the cost. Overwhelmed by the pressure, Xiao Yuhe's frustration erupts. He yells and violently clenches his fist, crushing the calligraphy paper he had just been working on, crying out his desperate desire to discover a true genius. His anger gives way to despair as he slumps over his desk. He laments his position, thinking that if he had the power and resources of the top factions, he wouldn't be stuck in this situation where his own advancement feels impossible. Suddenly, the door bursts open. A woman in a red jacket and glasses, President Zhao's assistant Little Su, rushes in breathlessly. She shouts his title and exclaims that something incredible has just happened at the martial artist assessment. Annoyed by the sudden intrusion, Xiao Yuhe regains his composure and questions his assistant. "Why are you so flustered? You didn't even knock. What is it?" Little Su looks completely panicked, apologizing profusely. "Sorry, President," she stammers. "This matter is simply too urgent." Leaning in, Little Su finally delivers the unbelievable news that has her so shaken. She tells the stunned president that in the assessment, an 18-year-old, level 2 martial artist has appeared, registering a battle power of 15,000. All his earlier frustration forgotten, Xiao Yuhe is galvanized by the news. He snatches the tablet from his assistant, frantically demanding that she show him the recording of the assessment immediately. As Xiao Yuhe stares intently at the screen, his expression turns to one of utter shock and disbelief. Beside him, Little Su is equally stunned, covering her mouth as she watches the footage. On the tablet's screen, the recording shows the young man responsible for the chaos. It's Lu Sheng, his eyes glowing with power as he unleashes a devastating punch. As they watch the replay, Xiao Yuhe's expert identifies the technique instantly. "This is a perfect realm fighting technique," he murmurs. When Little Su asks what that means, he dismisses her, saying it's martial arts terminology she wouldn't understand. Watching Lu Sheng's form on the screen, Xiao Yuhe explains the significance of what he's seeing. To cultivate a fighting technique to the perfect realm at such a young age is an incredible feat, something that fewer than 10 people in the entire world have ever accomplished. But then, a realization dawns on him. Even the perfect realm technique isn't enough to explain a battle power of over 15,000. He shouts that there must be another explanation. Xiao Yuhe's face, previously filled with despair, now lights up with pure joy. He exclaims that he understands now. Among those who practice martial arts, there exists a rare and exceptional phenomenon known as an exceptional gift. He elaborates that these chosen individuals awaken a tremendous power that ordinary people can't even imagine. Their blood and qi skyrocket, they gain unique, powerful abilities, and they are known to the world as gifted martial artists. Overcome with excitement, Xiao Yuhe laughs manically. His desperation has turned into elation. He declares that he must immediately make a personal trip to the home of this young genius, Lu Sheng. Meanwhile, in another part of the city, the race to recruit the new prodigy has already begun. A young man runs frantically towards his superior, a woman with long pinkish hair named Enai Shuang, shouting that he has found the person they were looking for. Catching his breath, the subordinate gives a full report. He has compiled a complete dossier on Lu Sheng, detailing everything from his status as a student at Baihe Institution to his parents' humble jobs, and the fact that his family lives in the nearby Sapphire Estate. The young man curiously asks why his senior is so interested in a seemingly ordinary kid from a poor family. Enai Shuang snaps at him, annoyed by the question, her expression making it clear that Lu Sheng is far more important than he looks. A moment later, Enai Shuang is on the phone, her expression turning serious. She learns that her rivals at the Martial Arts Association are also on the move. She remarks that while she knew they would be fast, she is surprised by their speed. Wasting no time, Enai Shuang orders her subordinate to immediately go and purchase expensive gifts suitable for a family, including parents and a young girl. She is preparing to make an offer that Lu Sheng's family can't refuse. Staring at a picture of Lu Sheng on her phone, Enai Shuang says with determination, "I finally found you." Behind her, her subordinate comically misunderstands the situation, wondering if she's getting married. The scene shifts to Lu Sheng's home. Unaware of the powerful figures racing to find him, he sits calmly in his room until a knock sounds at his door. It's his sister, Lu Qinghe, calling him Brother Lu, and urging him to come out quickly because someone is looking for him. Lu Sheng, who had been in the middle of a workout, agrees to come out. Lu Sheng steps out of his room, noting his sister's uncharacteristically formal tone. He immediately puts the pieces together, realizing his visitors must be here because of his shocking performance at the assessment test. He walks into the living room and stops. The modest space is completely dominated by the powerful presence of a man in a sharp, burgundy suit, who currently has his back to him. Lu Sheng's mother, looking utterly flustered and starstruck, nervously gestures for her son to come forward. The man in the suit turns, revealing himself to be President Xiao Yuhe. With a broad, friendly smile, he formally introduces himself as the president of the Baihe Martial Artist Association and states that he has come specifically to discuss Lu Sheng's assessment results. Lu Sheng is inwardly stunned, recognizing that the president of the association must be a level 6 master at a minimum. However, he shows none of this on his face, calmly shaking the president's hand and politely introducing himself. President Xiao is thoroughly impressed. He thinks to himself that Lu Sheng isn't showing any fear, remaining perfectly calm and collected. This temperament alone, he notes, is an incredibly rare sight. Just as the introductions are made, another guest makes her presence known. President Xiao points out Miss Enai Shuang from the rival Hong Chuan Martial Arts Center. Lu Sheng's entire family, now including his father, can only stare in shock as two of the city's most powerful figures sit in their humble living room. Enai Shuang gives Lu Sheng a charming smile. She greets him and gently reminds him that they have met before at the Martial Arts Center, casually asking if he remembers their encounter. Remaining completely unfazed by the presence of the two powerful rivals, Lu Sheng gives a simple nod of acknowledgement. He coolly replies, "Yeah, hey Miss Enai," his composure never wavering. Seeing his rival trying to build rapport, President Xiao decides to get straight to business before she can. He addresses Lu Sheng directly, stating that he'll keep his offer short and to the point, as the entire family watches with bated breath. Xiao Yuhe lays out his life-changing offer. He formally presents Lu Sheng with the Level 2 Martial Artist insignia, a rank earned due to his stellar performance. He then announces that his monthly allowance will be equivalent to a Level 3 Martial Artist. As his family gawks in disbelief, he presents the official certificate and a bank card, adding the final bombshell, a $1 million reward for his outstanding talent. The news completely overwhelms Lu Sheng's family. His father, thinking he must be dreaming, asks his wife to pinch him, while his mother's soul looks ready to float out of her body from the shock. Amidst their meltdown, President Xiao concludes his initial offer, calmly encouraging Lu Sheng to continue his hard work. In stark contrast to his family's chaotic reaction, Lu Sheng remains the picture of calm. He politely thanks President Xiao and the association for their support, But his steady gaze suggests he understands this generosity comes with expectations. But Lu Sheng is sharp. He understands that there is no such thing as a free lunch in this world. With a serious expression, he states that if the association is giving him so much, he knows he must repay the kindness, and asks President Xiao what they want him to do. President Xiao can't help but be impressed once again. He remarks that Lu Sheng's insight and maturity are truly broadening his horizons, acknowledging the young man's perceptive nature. Getting straight to the point, President Xiao presents a formal, black invitation. He says, "Then I'll be frank with you. We hope that you will join Dongning Province's talent training camp." Before Lu Sheng can even react, Anai Shuang leaps to her feet, shouting at President Xiao. She can't believe he would offer a spot in the infamous talent training camp, and her interruption immediately fills the room with tension. Turning to Lu Sheng, Anai Shuang offers a grave warning. She confirms that the camp is indeed a gathering for the most talented and gifted martial artists, but then adds ominously that it's also a place that is known for destroying talent. To prove her point, she tells a story. She brings up a memory of the most promising senior from her own martial arts center, a young man who was once bold, confident, and full of life, who also participated in the camp. The image of the promising senior fades into a horrifying sight. The same man, now looking gaunt, broken, and empty. Anai Shuang finishes her cautionary tale, explaining that he was never able to recover from the shock of the camp and was reduced to an ordinary person. President Xiao quickly interjects, trying to counter Anai Shuang's terrifying story. He holds up the invitation and insists that based on the immense prowess and potential Lu Sheng has already shown, the heights he can reach are far beyond those of the man she described. Xiao Yuhe formally extends the invitation to Lu Sheng once more. He skillfully puts the power back in Lu Sheng's hands, stating that while the association has high hopes for him, they will ultimately respect his decision. He then asks the crucial question, "What is your choice?" The scene closes in on Lu Sheng's face. In response to the high-stakes offer and the dire warning, a small, confident smile plays on his lips, signaling that he has already made up his mind without a hint of fear. With a steady hand, Lu Sheng takes the black envelope from the president. He looks at him and says, "You're right, President Xiao," fully agreeing with the assessment that his potential is greater than those who have failed before. Holding the invitation, Lu Sheng leans back with unshakable confidence. He finishes his thought, echoing the president's belief in him. "And I too believe, this isn't my limit yet." With that, he accepts the challenge, ready to face the dangers of the talent camp. After the president of the Martial Arts Association departs, his associate lets out a sigh. He tells the young woman with him that he'll leave her to it and be back to pick her up in 2 days. With a final word, he addresses her as Miss Anai before taking his leave, leaving her alone to negotiate with the new prodigy. As soon as her chaperone is gone, Lu Sheng cuts straight to the chase, demanding to know the real reason for her visit. Caught off guard by his blunt question, Miss Anai is immediately flustered, her face turning bright red. Her mind races as she realizes he's far more handsome in person than any photo suggested. She lets out a small cough to regain her composure before starting her pitch. Switching to a professional demeanor, she smiles and formally announces that her purpose is to extend a special invitation to him. Lu Sheng listens silently, his gaze shifting downwards as he processes her initial words. His eyes narrow with skepticism. The offer of being an honorary disciple sounds suspicious, and he immediately asks her to clarify what that title actually entails. Anai Shuang lays out the seemingly perfect deal. He wouldn't have to train regularly, but would get free access to all lessons and equipment, and could even be personally taught by her father. Best of all, she concludes, it's just a title with no real responsibilities attached. Of course, this generous offer is just a business tactic. A cunning smile spreads across her face as she internally gloats about her plan. Once word gets out that an 18-year-old martial artist with level 3 power is at their center, their popularity will explode. The marketing potential is immense, and she can already see the new clients flooding in. But Lu Sheng's response to her elaborate plan and generous offer is a single blunt word. No. Anai Shuang is left completely stunned. Scrambling to recover, Anai Shuang urges him not to reject her so quickly, insisting they can still negotiate. But Lu Sheng has already seen through her scheme and calmly presents his own counteroffer. He'll agree to be an honorary member, which would allow her center to advertise that he trains there. He firmly clarifies his position. He will not be their disciple, honorary or otherwise, simply because he doesn't need to be. He gives her an ultimatum: accept his terms, or he won't join at all. He coolly adds that he'll still use her center for future tests, as it's the most convenient location. And Aishuang is rendered speechless. She's been completely outmaneuvered, and the power dynamic has been flipped on its head. After a tense moment of consideration, she lets out a breath and concedes. Deal, she exclaims, adding one condition. The honorary title must be exclusive to the Hong Chuan Martial Arts Center. With the terms agreed upon, Aishuang promises to send his monthly pay of $100,000 directly to his home. Having concluded her business, she says a quick goodbye and leaves. The door clicks shut, leaving the small apartment in silence after the whirlwind of negotiations. Lu Sheng is left alone with his thoughts, a slightly bemused expression on his face as he processes his successful maneuver. Once Aishuang is gone, his family erupts. His father is in shock that the actual president of the Martial Association visited their home, while his mother tearfully asks if she's dreaming about the $1 million scholarship and $100,000 monthly pay. They bombard him with questions, asking when he became a level 2 martial artist. As his family struggles to comprehend the sudden turn of events, asking what exactly is going on, Lu Sheng looks on with a calm, gentle smile, ready to finally explain everything. He gently takes his mother's hand, reassuring her that it's all real. He tells her that from now on, she won't have to work the grueling night shifts that have been so detrimental to her health. He then turns to his father, whose own body has been worn down by years of hard labor. Lu Sheng insists that his father, too, must quit his backbreaking job. Overcome with emotion, his parents pull him into a tight embrace. Lu Sheng tells them that because he can earn money now, their days of hard work are finally over. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to a sophisticated establishment known as Philanthropy Hall. Inside, a sharp and intense woman named Miss He nervously bites her finger. She's been obsessively hunting for a mysterious genius for a week and still doesn't even know his name. Her frustration grows as she runs a hand through her hair. She's already checked the records of every recently registered pharmacist, but the creator of the miracle drug is nowhere to be found. Her expression hardens as she recalls the reason for her obsession. The drug this unknown person developed yielded shocking results upon further analysis. This mysterious pink liquid was a revolutionary discovery. Not only was it multiple times stronger than standard grade 1 and 2 drugs, but it even surpassed most grade 3 drugs. It came with tens of additional benefits, almost no side effects, a frighteningly long expiration date, and a production cost of less than $3,000. It was without a doubt a groundbreaking new drug of the century. Her desperation peaks, and she slams her hands down in a fury, screaming in frustration about the genius's whereabouts. Startled by her sudden outburst, a subordinate flinches, letting out a nervous gasp as he enters the room. Stammering in fear but also excitement, her subordinate announces that he has finally found the master she has been searching for. Her anger instantly vanishes, replaced by frantic desperation. What? Where is he? She demands. Her subordinate points frantically towards a screen. He shows her a news broadcast from Baihe Television. It's a special report on an unparalleled genius martial artist who has just appeared in their city, an 18-year-old who not only passed the level 2 test, but whose power exceeds that of a level 3, shattering all previous records. Missy stares in disbelief as the news report identifies the genius martial artist. It's a student from the Baihe institution named Lu Sheng. The two geniuses she was searching for were the same person all along. The story then shifts away from the city to a vast, misty mountain range known as the Sea of Trees. Deep within the forest, a tranquil river flows through the quiet landscape. It's here that Lu Sheng has come to train in seclusion. The peace is suddenly broken as a white dove perched by the river is startled by a sound. The bird immediately takes flight, flapping its wings to escape the sudden disturbance. But even in the air, the dove isn't safe from the disturbance. It glances down in confusion as a blue-tinged blur zips across the water's surface beneath it, moving with impossible speed. The blur reveals itself to be Lu Sheng, his eyes glowing with inner power. He isn't just running. He's practically flying across the landscape, his movements so fast and light they barely seem to touch the ground as he perfects a revolutionary new movement technique. He reflects on his training, realizing that by combining his quadrupled fixed star power with his absorption techniques, his agility has reached new heights. His speed is now at least 5 times faster than a standard level 2 martial artist. As he gracefully leaps through the treetops, he decides on a fitting name for this incredible movement technique: cloud chasing step. His practice session concludes as he lands softly on the edge of a high cliff. He takes a moment, standing on the mountain peak and looking out over a breathtaking sea of clouds at sunset. Finding a place of serenity, he begins to use his natural breathing technique, finally understanding its true purpose. With every breath, he can absorb energy directly from the air, continuously replenishing his strength and pushing his body's potential. As he practices, he can feel the energy of the universe flowing into him. His senses expand, allowing him to feel every subtle change in nature as he achieves a state of perfect harmony and triggers a massive breakthrough. His cultivation session now complete, Lu Sheng remembers his original reason for visiting the mountain. He had pre-ordered some rare herbs, and it was now time to go pick them up. He sees this as the perfect opportunity to test out his new skill, preparing to use his cloud chasing step to see how fast he can descend the mountain. He activates his cloud chasing step and becomes a blur, arriving at the base of Lonely Mountain in an instant, right where the local herb seller is located. Walking up to the seller, Lu Sheng politely introduces himself as the customer who had placed the pre-order and asks if the herbs are ready for pickup. The seller greets him with a wide, seemingly friendly smile, assuring him that all the herbs he ordered are ready and waiting. Lu Sheng inspects the goods, including the Yonglian grass and Lushuang leaf he needed. He confirms that everything is fresh and sufficiently matured. So far, the transaction appears to be going smoothly. Satisfied with the quality, Lu Sheng states his order of 10 stalks of each herb and takes out the money to pay the previously agreed-upon price of 5,000. However, the seller stops him, telling him there's no need to rush. The seller's friendly facade drops, replaced by a sinister, greedy grin. He declares that the price is now 1,000 per stalk, not 500. To make matters worse, he points to his entire stock and adds another condition: Lu Sheng must buy all of it. The simple purchase has suddenly turned into a tense confrontation. Continuing from the last chapter, Lu Sheng finds himself in a new predicament, his expression thoughtful as he assesses the situation before him. He stands before a group of shady individuals, calmly questioning their intentions. "What's this supposed to mean?" he asks, unfazed. A large man with a menacing dragon tattoo on his arm steps forward, declaring that Lu Sheng must not be from the Sea of Trees and must follow their rules. The other thugs join in, their faces twisted in sneers. One flashes a knife, taunting Lu Sheng and telling him to know when he's defeated. A faint smile plays on Lu Sheng's lips as his eyes begin to glow with a menacing blue light. "Oh, so you guys plan to coerce me into buying and selling," he says, his power starting to leak out. The thugs laugh, completely oblivious to the danger. Their leader advises him not to act smart, boasting that his crew are all level 1 martial artists and that there are no surveillance cameras to save him. Convinced of their superiority, the group of thugs prepares to attack Lu Sheng, their expressions filled with malice and greed. "If you don't listen, don't blame me for giving you a taste of our fists," one of them shouts as the entire group charges forward, ready to beat him into submission. However, Lu Sheng remains perfectly still. As the thugs close in, he simply places a hand on the ground, causing a massive wall of crystalline earth to erupt before him, effortlessly stopping the attack. The thugs' confident charge comes to a screeching halt. They are frozen in place, their faces a mixture of pure shock and dawning terror as they stare at the impossible barrier, a testament to Lu Sheng's overwhelming power. Lu Sheng then addresses the terrified thugs, casually shattering the massive earth wall into dust with a single fist. Surrounded by a powerful blue aura, he smirks and throws their words back at them. "Is this current situation when I should be admitting defeat?" The thugs stare at the dust in his hand, their faces pale with sweat and fear. The absolute difference in power has left them utterly broken. Immediately, they all drop to the ground and begin to kowtow, desperately begging for forgiveness. "Dad, we mere insects were blind. We're very sorry." As Lu Sheng begins to take the baskets of herbs, the lead thug eagerly offers them all for free. "Dad, take all of it. I don't want a single cent." With the basket of ingredients slung over his shoulder, Lu Sheng offers the thugs a piece of advice. "Let me help your parents teach you something too. Trust is key when running a business, so treat all customers with honesty. The thugs thank him profusely as he walks away. Lu Sheng thinks to himself that since they didn't want payment, he now has all the ingredients he needs to head to the training center. Once he is gone, the lead thug reflects on the encounter, realizing Lu Sheng must be a level 3 martial artist at least. He wisely decides it's time to find a new job. The scene shifts to the training center, where Lu Sheng arrives to find other students already gossiping about him. The amazing level 3 martial artist with connections to the Baiha Martial Artist Association president. As they chatter, one of them quickly shushes the others. Just then, a stern instructor with a goatee approaches Lu Sheng. He instructs him to leave his luggage and join the contingent from Qingyuan City, as the entrance ceremony is about to begin. Lu Sheng calmly agrees, stepping forward to face the next challenge. As Lu Sheng and his group are led into the facility, one of the other candidates voices his suspicion, noting that this doesn't feel like a normal entrance ceremony. Stepping inside a vast, industrial hall, Lu Sheng pauses as his foot makes a metallic sound, confirming that something is wrong. Suddenly, a heavy gate slams shut behind them, trapping the candidates inside. While the others panic, Lu Sheng remains calm and observant. The instructor appears and explains the true nature of the ceremony. It's a test. They must cross a walkway to the exit. Success means passing, while failure means immediate disqualification. The other candidates are thrown into a panic, demanding to know what he means and questioning why the ceremony is a test. Before they can protest further, the floor gives way beneath them. It's a trapdoor, and everyone is sent plummeting into the darkness. The entire group, including Lu Sheng and the young woman, fall helplessly down a deep, dark shaft. They land in a heap at the bottom. As the others complain about the rough landing and the ancient trap, Lu Sheng is already focused on his surroundings. He stands up, gazing down the long, sterile corridor stretching out before him. At the far end is a single sealed door. This must be the walkway the instructor mentioned, the path he has to cross. Preparing for whatever lies ahead, Lu Sheng closes his eyes. A faint purple aura appears as he begins to focus his mental power, extending his senses to scan the path ahead. Using his mental power, Lu Sheng scans the entire walkway, mapping out its structure and identifying potential threats that are invisible to the naked eye. His senses reveal hidden, robotic figures. He notes that as expected, it isn't an ordinary walkway, and marvels at how his newfound mental strength feels like a superpower from a novel. Meanwhile, another candidate, Lin Xiaoyu, scoffs with boredom. He had expected a more elaborate trap and seems completely unimpressed. One of the other candidates angrily confronts him. Lin Xiaoyu, you knew this entrance ceremony was fishy from the beginning. Why didn't you give us a heads up? Lin Xiaoyu looks down on him with disdain. You don't even have this bit of adaptability, and you call yourself a martial artist? Don't spoil my image. The argument nearly comes to blows, but the kind-hearted female trainee quickly steps in to de-escalate the situation. Stop fighting, she pleads. We're all from the same city. It wasn't easy for us to enter the training camp. We should unite as one. Tired of the infighting, Lu Sheng decides to move on. Lin Xiaoyu stops him, while another candidate mockingly suggests they might let the lad from Baiha City tag along if he proves himself. Lu Sheng brushes him off. With a sharp glance over his shoulder, he delivers a chilling ultimatum. Predators always move alone. Only prey will move in groups. Lin Xiaoyu is left completely speechless, stunned by the sheer audacity and confidence of Lu Sheng's declaration.